You were, okay.
Not at middle school.
So attendance, everyone is here, including our newest addition as clerk, Jennifer Smeltzer, who's right here. So be easy on her because she's just only been here a short time, so she's doing a great job. Amend agenda. What? I'm gonna amend the agenda. I want to have Dan on right after minutes from the regular meeting, so before financial reports, so we don't get him dragging us. Does anybody have anything else?
I would like to add, oh, do we have? Oh, wow, somebody already put Lake manager in here. I'm good.
Okay. Highly efficient clerk, okay. I hope. I said that right. Huh?
We'll see.
We'll see, okay. Oh, public comment. Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Paige. I live across the street from the recycling, and that's what I'm here about. Did you find a new home yet for it, or?
Have we found a new home? No, not yet.
Okay, I just want to read the impact of the recycling that it has on me. The traffic, it went from a dozen cars a day to literally hundreds. I mean, it's just a never ending flow of traffic, all hours. Privacy, can't sit in the front yard. There's no privacy. Cars stop in front of the house and always look over. Headlights shine directly into the living room window at night when they pull in. The noise, early morning to late evening, constant noise. I've been woke up at 6 a.m. from the crashing of bottles in the dumpsters. The garbage, that's probably the worst thing. When it's windy and people drop stuff off, it blows right into my yard. Some people just watch their stuff blow over and they drive away. Some people actually come running through our yard. One day my son came out of the garage and was startled by a man in our yard. There's thousands of pieces of shredding in my yard at the moment. The view. We used to see trees, now we see 6 dumpsters and a semi-trailer. Property value, I'm fixing up my house to sell, but I'm not sure who's gonna want to buy it with that across the street. And if so, what kind of a loss am I gonna take from it? The occasional person, I had somebody who left their phone, keys, purse, and dog in their vehicle. She got out and the dog locked the doors. The person came to my house wanting to ride to Bear Lake. Instead, I asked her if she just wanted to use my phone and call for a ride. I had a lady, it was a really bad snowstorm. She went into the ditch across the street, pulling out, and she had to wait forever for a tow truck, and she came to my house to use the restroom. Just the other day, when the trailer hadn't been there for a while and people were just dropping their boxes, I just see them just coming all across into my yard. A young couple pulled in. My boyfriend was across the street, was talking to somebody over there. The young man gets out of his vehicle and throws boxes right on top of the pile. I yelled across the street and said, "Don't throw your boxes there. They're coming right back into my yard." And he told me, "Well, then get the trailer back here." I just, there's garbage all the way from 22 past my house. Just whenever it blows over, it stops with the trees and the brush, and it's just disgusting. And anybody in this room would not want that across the street from them. So I'm pushing to find a new home for this. So that's it.
Okay, thank you, Paige.
Mhm.
Anybody else? No, okay. Yes. Go to public hearing on the proposed fiscal year 2025 to 2026 budget. Gonna open that public hearing. And we have, well, we don't need to talk about the renumbering here, do we? Probably not for the resolutions till we get down to them. Just accept public comment on the budget, is that not correct, Ed? So does anybody have any questions or statements to be made about the proposed budget itself?
We have 3 people online.
Okay, online, anybody? On the owl?
If you want to make a comment and you're online, just unmute yourself. Apparently not.
Apparently not, okay. If no one has anything to say on that, I am going to close the public hearing and call to order the regular meeting. That's okay with everyone. First thing on that would be minutes from last month. Do the regular minutes first and then the special meeting. I guess we go in order and do it the other way. February 10th special meeting. Does anybody have any additions, changes, motions
I would move for approval of the minutes.
as presented?
Yeah.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Matt, motion by Cindy. Any discussion? None being heard, all in favor, say aye. Opposed, that's carried. Regular meeting minutes of February 12th. Again, additions, changes, corrections, motions.
I would move for approval of those minutes.
Okay, motion by Cindy, second.
I'll second that again.
Second by Mr. Kiefer. Any discussion? None being heard, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That shall also carry. Okay, since we are here, Dan, why don't you, so, now, you heard why you're here anyways, part of the reason, okay, so I don't know how the school we'll start. Ed, you want to start? Me
Sure,
start.
sure.
Go ahead.
So the PCA recycling trailer has become a very large component of the township's kind of recycling initiatives because it's obviously more convenient to put the cardboard and stuff in the trailer when it's there. Obviously, it's an ongoing issue with it either getting full, not getting shifted, people leaving stuff on the outside of it. The PCA trailer is supposed to be a partnership with the school. The funds go to the school. It's been moved around at different locations. I think at one point it was at the school. I'm way up to here with the PCA recycling trailer. And I'm just wondering what the school might be willing to do to help strengthen that partnership, to monitor it, to maybe move it to their location, to their school, because you guys are benefiting from it.
We want to be part of the solution for the township and the county. This is a county issue, I'll be honest with you. It's not an Onekama issue. Less and less communities in the county are recycling. And that's too bad because it's work. It's a lot of work. We're a school district. We're the smallest school district in the county. And yet we don't have the manpower to do all the recycling for the county. And so what happens is that trailer's filling up within 3-4 days. We make a call. If they don't have a semi, it's not being put there. So we are doing our job. We're unfairly being blamed for things that are out of our control. We're a school or a high school of 95 kids. We're a school district of 300 and our kids are busting it. Our volunteers are going over there and doing it. The problem is when we show up, there's stuff everywhere. Just to get the stuff in the trailer takes hours and hours of work. We don't have the manpower to do that on a daily basis. So our solution is not to recycle for the county. We're gonna recycle for the school and we're gonna be good stewards of the land here and help out any way we can. But we're not putting the county's responsibility in our school district on our property. You wouldn't want that. You wouldn't want that at our school. It wouldn't be fair to our school district to take that on. We're working really hard to help out. I feel for Paige. I feel for her dearly. My last district, we did do that. And what happened after a year, we realized the school district can't be the recycling of the entire town. And so the school district stopped doing it. Where I was at, big school district, lots of manpower, couldn't keep up. And we're seeing the same thing here is that this county in certain spots have said, we can't do it. And so now if you look at who's recycling here, it's not Onekama is doing a great job recycling. But so it's people from Manistee, Bear Lake, everywhere around are coming here and we can't keep up with it. It's not that we don't want to, we don't have the manpower. So I think my recommendation is we get a task force together with some school officials and a group here, and we put our heads together because I do feel for her and we want to recycle. We're going to continue to recycle, but most districts around the state, if you look at it, the school districts does their own thing. We make sure we recycle as a school district. We continue to do our part, but it's really unfair to put 300 students, K-12, in charge of this county recycling. So that's just the school's response. We'll continue to work extremely hard for this to make sure that there's not garbage and stuff. But really, we have a lot of people unfairly just dumping there. And then when a trailer doesn't show up, we've called, we're begging for a trailer to try to do our part, but it just isn't happening. So I think there's a lot of flaws. We have our hand in the cookie jar, so does the township, so does everybody, and we want to partner for sure. But we can't take a trailer on and start putting that on school property. We've got enough projects with a bond going on right now. So that's just an honest answer, and be totally transparent with this town. Let's figure this out together, but I think it's gonna need a task force really to get our heads together. Not only just us, but I think it's gonna take other county officials that are gonna need to help out to find a solution that works for everybody.
In my estimation, the problem is, Manistee, MCC no longer has it because they're closed. And Manistee High didn't want any part of anybody coming on their property and bringing recycling, so they pulled the trailer there. I don't know how many other school districts have a PCA trailer, but you need to understand also, Dan, that the county recycling program under PA 69 is totally separate and distinct from the PCA trailer. Totally separate issue. We could have the PCA trailer gone tomorrow and have those bins there. And what's gonna happen, we probably would have to add some more, or maybe if GFL has it, some dedicated cardboard ones. But you're gonna have probably a bigger problem than we have now, potentially, because those bins are gonna fill up a whole lot quicker. But at that point, it's the county's responsibility then to monitor that. It becomes purely a county program. So, you know, I'm about ready to say, pull the plug on the recycling trailer and add some more bins over there, and then the county can deal with when people are leaving stuff. I don't. You know,
I hear what you're saying. I hear
the
what
city
you're
of
saying.
Manistee is being mandated to do curbside recycling because it's an urban area. That's probably gonna happen July 1st. So maybe there'll be less people if, you know,
Right.
Manistee, but it's not gonna help out Manistee Township. They pulled the plug on PA 69. They don't have a recycling trailer anymore. So we're getting all the traffic from Manistee Township.
Yeah.
We're getting traffic from Bear Lake Township, which is part of PA 69, so people can go to that, you know, when they want to. But we're becoming a centralized recycling thing, as you mentioned, for the county, and it's not working.
And I hear what you're saying. I can feel the frustration, and I felt the frustration because unfairly on Facebook, Onekama schools, we are busting it out over there. We are working extremely hard with the groups that we have. You know, we do get a kickback. It's not a lot, but that's not why we're doing this for the kickback. It's the lessons learned of being able to recycle, give back to your community, doing all the right things, but we can't keep up with the demand.
So what happened the last time was trailers were not,
They were out of trailers.
no, but they hadn't been inspected. They weren't out of trailers.
Okay.
There was
They
trailers.
told us that they didn't have any trailers
Well,
available.
That's true. They weren't available because they hadn't been yearly, I think it's a yearly inspection, and they hadn't a back stock of them and hadn't got to them yet, because I called to find out what the problem was. If it does stay there, and I'm not saying it does, but if it does, we have to put a fence or something up because that stuff blowing across, I don't know if the county would allow us to do that, but.
The one suggestion, and I'd like really a group to task this, is the one thing that worked for us that did work is it was open on Saturdays. We could man it from 8 to noon. You hold your cardboard till Saturday, so we got 4-hour window, we can man it. We can't man, we've got kids dual sporting, we got kids in clubs, groups, but I'll tell you, on a Saturday or a Sunday for 4 hours, and you bring it all and we're working, we're filling up trailer after trailer. That is one suggestion that I know has worked in the past at the last district I was at. And that we could plan out with groups ahead of time to really know, here's a Saturday half, here's a Saturday half. That's just one simple suggestion that we could do to where people know, you learn that we gate it off, you can't come in, but that Saturday becomes very busy for 4 hours.
But we can't gate it off,
So
because we have the other recycle trailers there.
So that's what I'm saying is, I don't know, it would take people at the table to really problem solve. I'm willing to be there because
Yeah.
I believe in recycling and we want to be partners that just know that.
Oh, we still recycle, we just wouldn't have the cardboard trailer.
So I don't know. I just know that we're gonna continue to recycle and it's,
Yeah.
when that's nothing there, we're stockpiling at our school, it's like this. We go through boxes and we're doing the right thing as a district as well. So I wish I had a better.
Maybe you could have the trailer up there just for you guys.
Well,
I mean,
those are things that we could think of for just like Manistee High. They just recycle and they said, we can't handle garbage on our property. We can't handle having people walking on it with safety and security needs. I mean, you guys know with school districts, we don't want people walking all over. That was a big part of the bond is safety.
And part of your issue is the volume too, because coming from the school, we had at 1.3, there was, well, MAPS had 2
Yeah.
and MCC had 1. Those are all gone with the exception, I believe, of the high school, so hazard, but that's not just somebody, nobody just can get to drive up to that
No.
because of the security issue. It's for the school to put their cardboard in. And then they call and somebody comes up there with that, so they've eliminated basically 3 cardboard trailers that used to be. And we had a really good system working for years when I was at the middle school, but we had like an advisory. And there was about, I don't know, 12 to 14 kids in that advisory, and they had that for 25 minutes a day. And that teacher that ran that advisory, their job was recycling. And so we had dedicated staff time, kid time, every day to it, and then like holiday, like Christmas break and stuff. We get, the Girl Scouts or a group to sign up for that time period, like you're saying, you had a Saturday or whatever. We'd always make sure we had it scheduled, because the exact same thing happened. People just dump all the stuff out with the trailer out there, or if it was full, they just dumped it, and then it would blow all over, and it was right back by the teen center. And all the people, it wasn't just one person, it was a bunch of people that were really mad about it. And so, short of doing something like that, but if you don't have the people to do it, short of moving the trailer on site for you guys and it's for your use only, I just don't see people stopping. I know Pete, I was there one day trying to help pick stuff up and the trailer was gone. And people were just pulling up and dumping. And I'm like, hey, the trailer's not here. It's been online. It's not, and we fought that issue until we had a shed that we purchased. And that shed was the interim thing that was locked and while the trailer was gone. And we had a sign on it. And when someone had to go unlock the shed, open it up when the trailer was gone, and then people would put it in the shed. Well, then when the shed fills up, hopefully the trailer's back by then. Usually it worked out, but then you have to have the people to empty the shed into the trailer. So this has been an ongoing issue, and I get it. If you eliminate 3 cardboard trailers, and now this is the only one in Onekama, you got a ton of people coming, so I don't know. Either we have to figure a way to deal with the volume.
I'm gonna ask Jeff a question. Maybe you know and don't know. If we eliminated the cardboard trailer and I told them to bring 6 more green bins, would they have to do it?
I don't know the answer to that because I don't know what PS 69 is for other than recycling. I know that the trailers have always been the PCA thing.
Yeah.
And that's-
No, I understand, but if will they do that?
I honestly don't know the answer to that.
That's a Carla question, but they have other dumpsters that are specifically designed for cardboard that are easier to put stuff in. But people absolutely are gonna have to flatten it, or those things are gonna fill up immediately. They won't.
And the only 2 local units that I can think of that do not participate in 69 is Manistee Township and Filer Township.
Is that all?
And that's it. I believe that's correct.
Okay. I know something's gotta be done, cause Paige has called me numerous times and I went over there to
Well, I
look,
get it.
pick
It's
stuff
no
up.
good-
I get it. There's no good thing to have it there because it's in the middle of nowhere and the wind blows right through. There's
And
no,
nobody's watching it.
well, when it was at the fairgrounds, see, there was a fence behind it and the wind
That's
caught
why we had
everything.
to pick it up there as well.
Yeah, but it didn't blow 500 feet
But
away.
I would be willing, if the county was amenable and we will agree to put a fence up that looks nice. So that would correct 5 or 6 of her issues, because it would capture the stuff. But I think if the PCA trailer goes and we don't have, active monitoring, that you're still gonna get some dumping, but at least at that point, I think it's less likely to happen. And I don't know if the village here ever, if they are gonna get curbside recycling, I don't know if they're mandated under that new statute. I know the city of Manistee, I think their population is too small,
They're probably too small population to be mandated.
but,
Who's paying for that?
the taxpayers, the residents.
They're gonna, a new millage?
Well,
or-
right now, we've got
Potentially,
PA
not a millage, it'll be.
115, which is the whole recycle program that's been mandated by the governor and the legislature, and that's starting, it's in its infancy. I don't know where that's all gonna go. And we also have that grant we're seeking for being up at the Rotary Commission, that recycle center.
We haven't heard on that yet.
Do we know when we're likely to hear on that?
One way or another, next month, I
Let me
think.
see if I think it's fairly soon, but
I
let
wanna
me
say
send
you
a
said-
text and see if I
I
can.
thought you said June before.
Oh, was it June first? I thought it was.
You
end of
said it
April.
was June or July, but I could be wrong.
So that's kind of where.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, well, I understand where you're at now, so, but you don't want it either. I mean, I don't blame you, so.
If we're gonna recycle, if it means having a mini trailer blocked off so that our kids are continually doing the right thing, but,
Yeah.
we can't take that responsibility for the whole county. We're just not big enough school district.
Okay.
Well, and your kids can't just walk out the door and work on it
No.
either. You gotta get over.
And really, we don't want people all over the grounds.
Right.
and saying,
Wandering
you know,
around.
it's different than it was 30 years ago.
Yes.
Safety and security is different.
Yep.
So those are all things that we consider, but, you know, like I said, I'm more than willing to sit at the table with people, put
Okay.
our heads together. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
you.
appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody.
Go ahead.
You know, for years, when I worked for community mental health, we ran the recycling program in Manistee, the industrial park. That was a really successful program. It was with PCA and our staff and volunteers basically ran the whole thing. The big deal was we had a huge pole barn down there in the industrial park,
We got nothing here.
which I believe they are using again now for recycling. There was something I just read about that. But to having a building, a wide open building where you could drive trucks through and you could just sort everything on the ground and have people, volunteers come in and do it, but you had to have a containment. You know, that's the problem. If these things get full and there's any glitch in the deal, I don't blame people for being mad with this stuff flying around.
No, and me personally, after all I've had enough to be blunt. I've had enough to be blunt about it. I'm tired of picking stuff up. Now I'm tired of hauling garbage home. My opinion would be we yank the trailer and they can bring 6 more dumpsters because that's already paid for under the program. And if they fill up and gotta dump them more, then they gotta dump them more. That is my opinion.
I mean, the green things do have.
They can take
They have a
cardboard.
big, long slot in
Yeah.
the front. You can smash
gotta
it down,
crush
but
it.
you gotta crush them. And
Well,
then,
that's all right. If you don't crush it now, they don't fill the trailer up anyways. So what's the difference?
Yeah.
I'm not going over there anymore. I'm done. And I feel for her.
yeah.
And I don't know how else to fix it unless the trailer's gone, you put a fence up and then you can have 6 more
I think a
bins.
fence should go up regardless.
Right.
I think would be neighborly. I think it would, prevent a lot of the problems.
Maybe we should put a sign up to pull in one way, because what's happening is she's getting a light shining in because they're pulling into the first entrance, coming around, and when they leave,
Yep. Enter.
and if you come in the other way, that would never happen. But at least the lights.
Yeah, I think that's.
The part about the
There's some-
noise at
there's some
6 in the
easy
morning, I
things
don't know what to do about
we can
that.
do. Well, you can put hours on there, recycling hours, 8 to 8, and then, because most people respect that. Some won't, but,
Yeah.
I mean, I think the signage is easy,
Okay.
so.
Jeff, should we ask you about the fence so you could go and ask your guys?
It would be best if someone from the township was at the next green team meeting and posed the question. And the other question is exactly what you asked me. Under PA 69, can you guys get a cardboard trailer? Cause I don't.
I kinda asked her that the other day.
A dumpster.
There
a
isn't-
cardboard dumpster.
Through that company we're using now, she said no.
So we just need more of those.
Yeah. But that's not gonna cost anymore. We're already on the fee.
People are gonna be unhappy because they have to do a little more work to flatten their cardboard, which some of them aren't doing now with the PCA trailer, because they can just toss it in there. They
It's
won't be
easy.
able to do that.
And I think
now
that's why
with
so
the
many
green
people are
things.
coming, because it's easy. You walk
Right.
in with all your stuff and pulling it in there and you're.
Or don't even just put it on
Or
the
you
ground.
throw it on the ground. That's the other.
That's way easier.
Yeah. And I was part of the recycling for years and we had that problem every single time. We never got it fixed because, I mean, we managed it, but it was never.
Well, lately, we haven't had any, like, there are no motors and no other stuff in the trailer, like 2 years ago. Someone put a motor in there. When they dumped the thing and went through the grinder, it ruined the,
The end of ours was when the kids got into the recycling trailer and were smoking in there and lit it on fire.
no.
And that was the end of,
Awesome.
that was the end of our recycling program. At the middle school.
Ashes to ashes, the dust to
Yes.
dust, whatever. Okay, so what do we want?
The next green team
When is
meeting is April 10th at 1 PM at the courthouse.
Okay, and somebody, I'm not gonna be,
April 10, 1. April 10.
It'd have to be
1
one of
PM.
you two, if you can. Cindy
Courthouse.
or Matt.
Okay, I can figure it out. You're right.
I mean, does everyone, well, first, does the board feel that's appropriate? Do we want to do that, I guess? What do you want to do? How about that? Let's start over. What do we want to do?
I think I would want the information. I think where I'm struggling right now is I didn't realize we were gonna have a recycling discussion at this
Yeah.
meeting, so I haven't really thought it through.
No,
And so I'm not one to usually just say, yeah, let's go with it.
okay,
I'd rather
Think
think
about it.
about it or else have,
fine with me.
And is the fairgrounds totally off? I mean,
but
You can ask that guy right there.
I do
Who?
think,
Mr. Downs.
fairgrounds is a no-go.
but I do
Always
think
go
matter,
back here.
And you might have 3 townships that aren't in BA 69.
This is exactly what happened to Manistee Township. They got to the point, and they weren't, never remembered 69. They said that because they got tired of wrestling with the garbage constantly.
I mean, I can put up with the Facebook lies, but the rest of this is.
So it sounds like,
I think it still makes sense for Matt or I to
Yeah.
go to the meeting, ask some questions.
Well, you could ask them if they'd allow a fence to be put up. That's one thing we need to.
yeah, we need to know if we could, put up a tasteful fence along the road. I think we need to know if we can get more containers and or whether we can get specific ones for cardboard. I mean, the answer may be you just have to use the same ones and you can get more of them, but we need to know that. And then I think you can make a decision. I mean, Dan made it very clear they don't want the trailer at their place. So,
Nobody does.
No, I agree. So is that what the route we're taking? We're gonna wait till after Cindy goes to the green tea? When is it, the
Or Matt,
10th?
I didn't check my schedule, Matt or I.
When is the,
He
when
said
is our?
April 10th at
It's
1
after
o'clock.
our next month's meeting.
Where is it?
The day after.
He said the courthouse?
Commissioners room.
Commissioners room.
Commissioner, sir, okay.
so we can take it up in May. That would give some time to people to maybe brainstorm and percolate a little bit.
Okay, that's
Um,
fine. We'll have 2 months to make a decision. And maybe we'll know by the grant you said when?
I'm waiting to hear.
Okay, so maybe all that'll coincide and it's May, June or something. I don't know. No, whatever. Okay.
Well, even if it does, that is not gonna happen overnight.
No, but at least to give a
Gives you a window.
where to go.
'Cause that would be like a major recycling center by the road
Yes.
commission with big trailers and
Well, same trailers but it would be.
Yeah.
But again, who's gonna police
like on
that?
Weedy Ridge.
Yeah, see, so you're back to the same, I mean, supposedly this is getting policed now, right?
I believe there's inspectors, yeah.
Yeah, well-
I believe, but I couldn't tell you.
That's a
Well, I think
that's a
that's what
green can question too. How often are we doing it?
Once a month, whether it needs it.
And the other issue is, especially in the wintertime, they come with the trail, it fills up, they pull it away, and then it snows, and then they may say, hey, and prior to bringing the trailer back, somebody has to plow that, so the trailer will line up with the steps. Well, the plow, there's a couple moving parts there, and then that is another day or two, and then it snows on top of all the stuff that people throw on the ground. I mean, it gets worse, believe it or not, in the winter, I think.
Oh, yeah, it does. So, okay. Is that what we're gonna do then? Everyone's on board with that?
At least get information.
Yeah,
Okay.
one of us will go to
I
the
don't know
green
if
team meeting.
That's the answer, but
Okay. Jeff, you know what? I'm just gonna move you up here so you don't have to hang around all day. How's that?
Okay,
Or I can move you to the back of the meeting, whichever you take your choice.
take my glasses off so I can see.
Okay.
Had our meeting last night, 6 o'clock. It was our first night meeting of the year. We have 2 more coming up.
Did you have better attendance?
No.
I didn't think so.
If there's a hot issue, people will always find a way to attend your meeting. Yeah, and it doesn't happen that often. You don't tend to have to inflame the meetings. We replaced a commissioner and we put Karen Goodman on the Central Wellness Board. We're having some attendance issues and it was time to make a change, so we did that. We appointed Lisa Kenner, Judge Mead from Benzie County, the 85th District Court came down, and because she lives in Manistee County, we needed to sign off on that. It's no big deal, just a formality. Letters of support for the BEADS program. And what is the BEADS program? It's the Broadband Equity Access Deployment. It's a federal program. And we have Charter Spectrum, we have Acentech, and also Great Lakes Energy, TrueStream. So we gave our blessings to write letters of support in regard to that, so I can sign off on it. Sheriff Gutowski came before us last night and gave us his annual report, give you some highlights. His budget is 5.1 million. 41 employees, 19 of those are DEPs, 14 of those are corrections officers. They had 6,128 calls that they were dispatched on over the year. And just so you know, the size of the jail has 80 beds and they've averaged, the average amount of people in beds is 35. And the average stay of those people is 22 and a half days. And one other thing that came up, recidivism is high. So 565 people, total, and 520 of those are repeats. So that was kind of, it's one of those things I don't ever remember that coming up before, and Commissioner Machen made note of
Can
that.
we start buying
He's a
bus
lawyer.
tickets?
You know, there's a number I haven't
One-way
never
bus
seen.
tickets?
So Jeff, with 80 beds with 35 is the average, do they rent beds out to other,
We used to.
you don't anymore?
We have not, it's not that we can't or wouldn't, it's just the need isn't there in the region. I mean, you're only gonna truck people so far. The biggest problem we have is with juvenile and having to send it, frequently we'll send them down, it'll take 2 deputies to do it as well, down to Indiana. It's crazy,
Indiana?
Indiana. It's a major issue for everyone up in this neck of the woods. And as you say, you tie up two deputies, it's labor intensive, it's vehicle.
And the reason they can't be in the jail here?
So you're dealing with juveniles, it's a whole
Juveniles and
different world.
adults together, you can't put them, you can't house them together.
Even if they're, oh, okay.
Like a 16-year-old kid and a.
We did sign the new contracts for Carla for recycling for another year, so that's extended. Regional Summit is gonna be turned over to the chamber. They are willing and able and looking forward to taking that over, and it's gonna get freshened up and shortened up. So to be continued. We also signed off on a letter of support for Bear Lake Village for new water mains up there. So we signed off on a letter that goes to Congressman Molinar. We also released $116,418 of opioid money. There was 3 recipients of that. One is Lakeshore Children's Advocacy, Central Wellness, and also District 10 Health. We also passed a Parkinson's Awareness Month resolution, which we've been doing annually for quite some time. Anything else, primarily as I kind of tend to mention, airports under transition, Barry's retiring. We are gonna be putting out RFPs for a fixed base operator and also a new manager and even a deputy manager. I don't know. We gotta wait and see what we're gonna get back. It's gonna probably cost the county more money. The contour system, we had a gentleman by the name of Ben Munson. He came before us, he's the president, and we had an hour conversation with him because we've had some hiccups. And we're trying to get them ironed out, and at least they admit that it's no different than when we first got Cape Air. We had a lot of problems with Cape Air. But they always acknowledge them. So it's, I would tell you, some version of the same. They recognize they do have some issues and they're working on them. I can tell you this month, it's been much better than prior, but again, when winter starts subsiding, it's a lot easier to get things going correctly.
Are there more people flying?
There are more people flying. I actually flew for the first time out of Manistee when we went on vacation last month, and that was the first time I flew out of here since probably 2012 when Frontier was here. And it was, I can't tell you it was seamless, but it was good. We made our connections. There was a little delay. There was a little incident with a little fire in the back of a de-icing truck, which got everybody a little excited, but no one got hurt. We moved on. But and again, I feel for Paige as well, I don't have any good solutions. It's a matter of how much, the only solution is to have some regional ones probably, but they're gonna have to be made. And everybody and their brother wants to stand up and put their hand in the air that we want recycling until this stuff comes up. And then it's kind of like, everybody's putting their hands up, I don't want to. You know, so. It's my hands.
Apparently you're gonna have something.
So
We got the ringer message.
we do what we can, that's all I can tell you.
Okay.
Any questions?
Do you think the commissioners like to man that trailer on a Saturday?
Oh,
For us?
Are there any other trailers like that around?
Well, there's trailers as far as, yeah, it's not the only trailer, and those are PCA trailers, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
That was started decades ago, and it was,
So where are they now? Do you have any idea who else has one?
Redwood has one, don't they?
I believe they got one in, well, I don't know, Brethren, Bear Lake, I'm pretty sure does.
Yeah.
I don't know about maps.
They changed, and it's that, if you go to around the back of the high school, there's a loading dock there.
Yeah.
That's where the trailers, but it's not everybody come and use our trailer anymore, like it used to be. It's for the school.
Yeah, what's the recycle location? I never pulled in there where the well is on Veterans Memorial.
So that's,
At the really.
they've got the bins there, the commingled
Yeah.
bins, so that's where they moved it to after the MCC shut down. And they've got the PCA trailer at the city garage for like every other weekend. But, more than likely, when this new budget's approved, that goes into effect July 1st for the city residents, there'll be curbside recycling.
You know, people like to say that everybody's very hot. There aren't too many people in my world that would drive 20 miles or 15 miles to go drop off cardboard.
I think
Unless you're going-
I don't think it's like everybody likes to throw that stone either.
Well, I don't know, they weren't gonna put the names out, so someone collected names on the labels for all the cardboard. And was gonna post it on Facebook, and then they shut that down and said, well, we better not do that, but. I would have done it, but the person that was in charge of the thing said,
Yeah,
no,
the monitor.
the monitor didn't wanna do that, but. You know, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I just had my fill of. good
MCC had the best setup. They built that big building.
Well, there again, that was, the city worked out some deal, and I don't know the deals, but that and PCA got that squared away, and it was working, but Catholic Central had issues with that thing as well. It was not.
But they had a
it was
nice,
not
at least had a
issue-free.
building to put it in.
Now, that's a pretty small building.
What's that?
Eventually they had a building.
And now the
Yeah.
concern is what's happened with that building, because that was.
Nobody's there.
That was state grant money, and now it's sitting there unused.
Right. Same thing with a gym.
I thought they were using that again. I thought they started using that. again.
No.
No, they've got that fenced off.
The other thing I'm gonna bring up is what about her statement of stuff that's all over in her yard? I mean, we probably at some point, somebody, I don't know who, us, whoever, the school, probably not the school, whoever. Is gonna have to go clean that up if it's that bad. I haven't been over there lately, so
I was there today. It looked pretty good, but she's talking like,
it's blown all the way
well, what
across.
happens is, when people run it through a shredder at the office and then
Shredded paper.
it's shredded paper. And if you leave that outside and leave it a little wind, then you're talking
It's not even just the shredded paper, it's the
big
other,
cardboard.
it's not even big cardboard, it's part of the.
Throwaway stuff, just-
Throwaways.
Oh, yeah, it blows
Bottles
out of
and
the
cans and
thing.
everything else that blow across and wind up in the tree line behind her house.
Right,
So a fence with.
would help
with
if
the
you had,
proper
you would have to
slat
put a slat in it.
Would solve a lot of that.
And maybe a screen over it, something, and make it 6 foot high, I don't know.
I will contact and let them know that
Okay.
you guys on the agenda for the next green team, so it's on there. So you just don't have public comment time. You can hash things out a little bit.
And I don't think there's any reason we couldn't put a sign that just said it's open from 8 to 8. I mean, at least most people would.
Enter and exit.
And enter and exit would definitely help with something.
Yeah, because I get it. They would be, if they go the other way, it goes right in their front window.
But if you have a fence, they'll still have the two wide openings, they'll still blow through there,
Well,
and it's gonna find its way there. Put a fence on the south side, where the bins are now, so the bins sit up against the fence. You'll cut the wind,
Both of the directions I need on one side.
Surround the whole.
That could be solid wood fence and then. Have to be that solid wood. Okay, thank you, Joe.
Okay.
Very much.
Have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
I'll be
Thanks.
back up here for village.
Oh,
Something
tonight,
comes up,
tonight?
yeah, 7 o'clock.
Well, just stay here. Bye, Joe. I guess that didn't work out. Financial reports. About balance sheet, revenue expense reports.
Those are all in the packet. Did anybody have any questions on them?
No? Anyone in the public? No? Ms. Smeltzer, clerk's report.
Well, the clerk's report, we have an election coming up on May sixth. And we have one overseas/military voter to date. And that's it. Oh, I should say, so the state mandates that the clerk must be available for an 8-hour period the weekend before the election. You can choose Saturday or Sunday or half of both. I have chosen Sunday from 9 to 5. So anybody who can't wait till Tuesday to vote or doesn't have an absentee ballot or for whatever reason, you're welcome to come down here and vote.
What are we voting on May sixth?
West Shore.
West Shore.
West Shore.
And because it's a one single ballot issue, we'll get reimbursed by West Shore for that, is that right? You think?
I hadn't heard that yet in
I
conversation.
think we will, because it's not our election. It's special.
It is
And they
special.
can't combine the two of the.
They don't ask.
Okay.
They don't know why. They do that because they help less people show up to vote, and yes, people show up to vote, and there's only one issue. And no, people just don't show up.
Strategery.
Always has been.
Interesting.
There's a method to the madness. Okay, anything else? You're enjoying your job so far?
So far, it's been great. Day 9's gone pretty well.
Well, 2 months, I'll ask you the same.
And you'll make sure you put the time that you're gonna be on the website? So
Absolutely.
people, absolutely, there you go. Oh, did we get your name changed on the phone?
Changed on the website, not on the phone.
Okay,
Partially.
We're working there.
Working through it.
partially changed, very good. Okay. Mr. Bradford,
So the treasurer's report was in the packet, just a couple of the highlights. We do have a budget amendment for later on the agenda. I am basically settled with the county treasurer for the 2024 property taxes. So that went pretty smoothly. There was a couple little glitches between our newer version of the software and the county's version, but, the county treasurer's office got that sorted away. And I've mentioned it before, but, for future taxes, for, the summer taxes and any taxes after that, we have the ability to both look up the taxes online and make credit card payments or electronic check payments online. And I'm gonna change the website a little bit, so it's a little bit clearer, a little bit easier to get to, but, we had, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 people use that. It only went into effect at the very end of the winter tax collection cycle, but I think for people who forget or last minute, it'll give them a nice option to be able to pay. And there's some fees involved, but, it's a nice convenience for them.
they have to pay the service charge fee, the credit card charges.
Yeah, the
right?
e-check online is a lot cheaper. If you have a big tax bill, it's very economical because they can, verify that right away and have it go through.
And the other way is 3%.
Roughly, yeah. It's
Okay.
listed on the site what it is.
Okay, someone else asked me that last week and I said, I think you pay the credit card fee, we don't pay the fee.
Right, we can't do that.
He questioned why we wouldn't pay the fee and I went, no, wait, okay. Send a check in early. Okay, anything else? Questions for Ed from anybody? Nada, okay. You know what? I'm gonna move only because Duncan's here and he wanted to be involved with the discussion with for planning commission about, can we do that? Do you mind? If
Yeah, I
do?
just put it on as a reminder that, I would, again, we brought this up for a number of months, and I know you're back now, Dave, but I'm hoping that the planning commission will comprehensively address their special use permit, what needs to be updated, what they're in violation of, and just get it all updated and let everybody know and get it addressed, because there's a number of outstanding issues that need to be dealt with.
And I would totally agree with that. I will say that it was my intention all along to not try to do anything in the winter months, because I'm not gonna get crucified for that adventure. Nobody's in town and if We have word of a public hearing for Portage Point Inn in January, special meeting. They'd scream.
I fully agree with that, and they're also gonna scream when they show up in June and there's still a bunch of garbage in the ball diamond and things haven't been
Well,
dealt with, so as long as the planning commission is making good steady progress towards doing that, I'm satisfied. I just wanna hear that from you, that
I,
that's gonna happen.
I spoke this afternoon before this meeting with Bob Guzan, and, if he heard about the inn was on the agenda and what's going on and we talked and I said, well, I believe, quite frankly, we need to bring the permit into 2025 and, adjust those things which are not working and work hard for the timeline on those things that are working. I would also, like to, see if we can, make some progress with, concerned citizens of Plymouth Lake. I don't really like to see that, lawsuit meter running on a continual basis with no end in sight. So our intention will probably begin discussions in April. And Bob will be back in June. And I know Doug is here all the time, so, that's the plan at this time.
Excellent, thank you.
Is that Duncan, anything? Okay. I guess we need to get, when you guys are talking between, not Duncan, but maybe Bob and talk to the village again. I don't know if you want to be involved in that discussion or let those guys do that.
Bob spoke on the phone and, he doesn't know Wayne Miller, but he's going to be introducing himself and, seeing if there's any, possible solutions there.
And what are you referring to? Sewer?
Sewer. Portage Point Inn needs, some kind of a sewer system. And, you know, and I'm speaking without any knowledge really here, but whether they spend, $1.5 million of their own money to put a private sewer in at the ball field, or they spend $1.5 million, you know, giving it to the village so the village can update their system and handle them. I think Bob just wants to talk.
And remember, the township paid decades ago to upsize the size of the line that extended to Little Eden to be able to handle the flows from out there at some point. So we have some skin in that game as well, if there's an ultimate connection to that line. So I think that's what everybody wants to see. They just want to know what's going on. It's been idling forever and there's clearly some violations that are out there that need to be addressed and we just need to tidy it up. I think that's everybody's in the same page on that.
And I told Bob, you know, my two daily questions are, what's happening with Portage Point Inn and what's happening with Shays?
Tell them if they want to open Shays, it's no problem.
Yeah.
I'll give them the girl's number and they can be in there next week.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
So it
Okay.
sounds like there'll be forward progress. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Ben. We'll move on. We'll still come back to you. You have something else to talk about for planning while we're here?
He has to talk about the planning. Not directly.
Okay. Okay, then we'll go back to the real part of the agenda, and now next thing on, there's Manistee County Road Commission agreements for local road improvements. For both, does everyone have a copy of these now?
You have an electronic copy of,
Okay,
get the copies of those.
have you seen them?
The ones that, the email, yes.
Okay. So the one for. Well, two of them, so the one to fix it and do road name locations would be 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th and 9th streets and Portage Point Drive, hot mix. Asphalt.
Hey,
one
David?
Yeah,
What are you, it's Libby, what are you all reading? Did I miss it in the packet?
You did miss it in the packet. It just arrived after the packets had gone out.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So Jennifer, they will be up by next week, whatever they're looking at?
Oh, yes.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know. It's hard to follow
Okay,
along.
so Libby, so you're aware, it's what we talked about when Brad was here. This is just the written document, but it deals with the same issue.
I understand that, and I knew that he
Okay.
was going to give you that. I just checked the packet and I didn't see it, and I just wanted to ask how I got a copy. I now know. Thank you very much.
Okay. So back to road names, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 9th Streets and Porch Point Drive, 1.111 miles, project number 489. The gross amount with engineering services or whatever is $240,000. The road commission match and our match would be $120,000 each, approximately, for that. With a contingency of $12,000. They'd like to ask for a $30,000 advance.
What section of Portage Point Drive are they talking about?
Well, it doesn't say, it just says,
That's longer than a mile, right, from 22 all the way up to.
no, it's not that. They're only doing out by 2nd, 3rd, 4th. I'm assuming it's from 9th Street going,
All the way out to the turnaround or something?
yeah, because 2nd Street. We could call Brad and ask him that
I
question.
just was curious, I mean, that would make sense, but.
When they did it the last time, did they stop at the end? I don't
I don't
know.
know.
They may have. I mean, that's all we asked them to do. We didn't ask them.
This was the additional work.
This was the additional work. That's that. We can move on to the next
That's where I
one.
got confused. I was on the other one for a minute.
No, so we'll go, that's the littler of the amount. It's 120,000.
Right, right.
Okay, the next one is to do Township of Onekama, various township road, chip and fog seal, 27.598 miles.
Hmm.
That was the big project. He got a little bit better price because this came in at 575 and our match on it was 295. And I think last time he was here, it was over 300,000. He thought our match was gonna be.
And to clarify, Dave, this work will follow the county road commission's wedging and crown correction and crumbling edge fixes. That's 100% their cost. They're gonna do that first and then they'll come back and do this treatment like you talked about.
That's correct. They're gonna do all that base work, which for no charge. And this is what he recommended to the board to do, to make the roads last, what did he say, 8 to 10 years longer?
This is by far the most cost-effective way to preserve our roads is to do what they're proposing.
Because the number he gave us, if we let it go, is astronomical money.
Well, we can't afford to keep,
No.
not as expensive as pave. Well, look at the other ones. Basically paving a mile. And it's, 240,000 and that's just, that we're so.
Okay, so right now in the budget, we've got 384. Right? For repairs and maintenance, is that?
Are you talking about the one we're gonna vote on now or the one that we're in currently?
The propose. I mean, all I'm trying to say is. We're gonna have, do we have to amend,
Resolutions.
so we don't have to amend the new?
Well, for one thing, it's not gonna be, the down payment on that is 75,000. No, I'm sorry, I can't read it, 73,750. The total, when the bill's gonna be due, is in October.
I know that would be in this budget, the proposed budget.
Yeah, and is that the stuff that we handed out at the last, because I did make a couple of those little adjustments that we talked about, and that's reflected in the resolution here. So that new total is 414,500, so it's really
Okay.
close to covering it.
Okay,
And we can always, if we approve the contracts, we can always amend the budget once we get into the new fiscal year.
so now I'm not sure. I think this I pulled from the packet you sent.
Well, I updated it unless I loaded the wrong one out, but I can double check that. The resolution certainly reflects it. We can go through that when we get to that, adoption, but I'll get it closer. I would make a motion to enter into the agreement to do the hot mix asphalt chip and fog, or not the hot mix asphalt, the chip and fog seal for a township match of $295,000.
An advance of 73,750. You're making that motion?
Yes.
Okay, the motion made by Ed, is there a second?
I'm not good at that.
Who? Both? Can't have you
I said,
both.
sure, whoever you want, you just take your choice.
Okay, I have Cindy, I'm sorry. Sorry.
That's all right.
I heard her.
Seniority.
I heard her first. Okay, any discussion on that? I think it makes sense because it's what the road commission
Yeah.
is recommending to us. And, I think it's the biggest bang for the buck to help the roads in our township.
And we're getting a deal because they're doing a bunch of other work. So we're,
Right there, yes. So I guess I'll do roll call vote. So Matt,
yes.
Cindy,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
David, yes. Ms. Clerk?
Yes.
Okay, I declare that passed. I think everybody has to sign this. That's it that way. Okay, the next one is,
Yeah, if we don't have the money in there, we're
Take it out for.
putting a bill, be out there grading it. Boxing.
trying it up. Okay, so the next one is the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and ninth streets and Portage Point Drive hot mix asphalt resurfacing 1.111 miles. I don't have a project number on it yet, actually, but township match on that would be 120,000 with an advance of 30. Contingency of $12,000. So what's your wishes on that?
Well, they have a discussion, I'll make a motion.
Okay, someone make a motion by Ed, second by somebody,
I'll second it.
second by Matt, so we can have discussion. Go ahead.
So these streets are really, really in bad shape and they service a lot of seasonal homes. But they don't service a lot of, and there's not hardly any year-round residents out there. They're almost like a private driveway to a degree, but they're in really bad shape.
They're terrible shape.
The Portage Point Drive section needs some help along there and that gets a ton of traffic.
Right.
So, I don't know if the county, I mean, I think our fire apparatus has trouble getting back up there anyway, just because it's so narrow. I don't know, exactly how that works. I don't know, does the county plow those in the winter or not? I think some of them they do and some of them they don't. But
I think they do, I think they do plow them actually, but
yeah, so, I mean, I think while there are a lot of houses in it, those houses pay a lot of taxes because they're, some tend to be high value and a lot of them are not PREs, so I'm okay with this, but just know that it's not serving a lot of year-round residents in this area.
no, but it still services quite a few
It
properties.
does, there's quite a few houses back up in all these streets, so.
And the flip side of that is if we let it go farther, like
It'll be
said,
ground up.
And they'll have a
Then
lovely
they-
gravel road.
then they have well, then we gotta grind it up and then he was like, it's 8 times the cost to
Right.
fix it or whatever. It's terrible.
Yeah, I mean, an overlay is a good technique.
Yeah.
So,
And that gets us by for,
a lot longer than.
This will last a lot longer, so
Did he say when they were planning on doing this work, like in the fall maybe,
they're gonna have it done before,
or in the spring? So before.
they don't know, they're gonna be all over. So it depends on where, they're not just gonna start one township, I guess they're moving
This would
all.
be a disaster if this is done after Memorial Day or before Labor Day.
Oh, well, you know,
So hopefully we can do one or the other. What's that?
Why should they get off easy?
Just saying.
okay. Any other discussion? None being heard. I'm gonna ask for a vote. Matt,
yes.
Cindy,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
and David, yes. Okay. Good to declare that passed also. Thank you. Yes,
Because
Jennifer was out of the room when you made a motion and it was seconded. Did you get that in your minute?
Nope, I was gonna wait for the owl recording.
Oh, okay.
Oh, the motion, second. Thank you. Sign transfer over. Okay, moving on, appoint liquor inspector. Jennifer had put a application in. I would throw my name in that only because I did it for 20 years before, and it really doesn't matter who does it. She's got a background. They don't give the free samples like they used to anymore. So, just so everyone knows that's not true. When they think there's free liquor inspection, doesn't mean tasting. So, so there you go. So someone needs to make a motion unless somebody else wants to be considered. No? Okay, so there you go. I'm not making a motion, obviously, but you guys have to decide, somebody on the board. We have to appoint a liquor inspector, come on.
You guys gonna remember something?
No, I don't care. Cause I've done it before. I was gonna do that. It didn't matter to me. Here, I'll withdraw.
All right.
We'll make it
Because
easy.
I've chatted with Bob to see what he does. I also reached out to the Michigan Liquor Control Commission. Their legislative liaison has a title of business manager. It's still the same woman that I've worked with for years. And I have a background in helping people, not only in this county, but other places in the state get liquor licenses, so.
No. The inspection is actually not too bad. It's basically cleanliness next to godliness and checking their license.
Mr. Blackmore assured me that bootleg whiskey is no longer an issue
No
here.
longer an issue here, so.
I'll make a motion, we appoint clerk Jennifer Smeltzer as the liquor inspector.
Second,
Thank you.
second?
Oh, I thought you were saying
I
the
thought-
second that you were doing.
Oh, no, I
I'll
know.
second.
Okay.
That's what I thought.
I
No,
thought
I'm
you were the
sorry.
second.
No, I never do that crap. I'm sorry. Any discussion? I try not to make motions and I try not to do that.
But you are allowed.
I know I'm allowed, but I think the board operates better when the board does it. How's that? Discussion? None being heard. All those in favor say aye. Aye, opposed. That's carried. Okay. Motion to add Jennifer Smeltzer on the West Shore bank account and the Elan credit card. Okay,
So moved.
so moved by
Support.
Senator, supported by Ed. Discussion? None being heard. All in favor say aye. Aye, opposed. That's carried. Resolution supervisor salary.
So,
Go ahead. You want to say something?
so why would we approve resolutions before we approve the budget? We decide how you normally do it.
Just how I number them. I don't know. I think you can do them whatever order you do.
Okay, so here, you know what? I get what she's saying. So why don't we do this? Why don't we do the budget first and then the resolutions? I just put out, they're just in order here. It doesn't mean they're number. I can go any number I want. It's probably a good point. How about we're gonna go to resolution 2025-009?
We ask questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So now I'm not sure, Ed, since you said that you updated something, so maybe. I was just looking at what last.
Yeah, so the things that I tweaked, and I thought that they're reflected on here, but I guess I didn't send you guys, at least not in the packet, the actual detailed budget printout, so I can look back, I'm going from memory, but on the road fund, we had, or I'm sorry, in the fire fund, I moved the payment for the fire truck because it's not gonna happen in this fiscal year.
Wait, are we talking about the proposed budget?
Yes.
That was one of the questions I had, because I knew you talked about it last
Yeah.
meeting. But so what's included in the outlay of 590,904?
Let me pull it up.
We have
It's
probably the 180 payment,
it's two payments on the fire truck, the last two payments.
right?
And the the price had gone up, I think, from when we initially did the budget last year, a little bit, or so there's a little bit of a difference. They didn't charge us more than what we agreed to, but it wasn't reflected in those budget numbers exactly right. So that's why that went up a little bit. There's the side by side that they talked about, and there is the ice suits that they talked about, are the three things that are in there.
Okay, because I tried adding the numbers and that's the reason I asked. So maybe you just
Let me pull it up.
increase the one number because I was trying to do the math thinking I knew what four numbers were in there, but I couldn't come up with that.
I just gotta get the software up here, so give me just a second to pull it up.
No problem.
I love two-factor authentication.
I think everything I can do now requires that additional.
And you get a text and you gotta put another number in there.
Sometimes I leave my phone in there.
255.
Wow. I can forget a password in less than a minute.
I use it all and all you. Minor fixes. Well, Mark Brewer. Put a new roof on it. It's built quiet. Okay, so can you see this on the screen, Cindy?
Not a chance.
Okay, so.
Really, Cindy?
This goes back to that big screen behind your.
You know, we could buy that jumbo screen. I'm serious. They're
So
not that
the
much.
difference between what we talked
Cash
about.
in or recycling checks.
Wait a minute, here.
Yeah.
So this is the fire fund budget. The only difference is in the capital outlay. So
Right.
originally we had,
That's the only number I'm questioning too.
yeah, so right now there's, the pumper final payment. We had requested 243,000. That was what, the number I had, but it's actually 361 and the second payment's 185. The total of all the payments is what we agreed to originally. It's just the timing and how they were put into the budget. So there's more dollars in the 25-26 budget because the payment that we were anticipating in March of 2025 isn't gonna be made. until
No, I
after.
remember that, but when I
Yeah.
moved it, I thought when I added all these numbers up, it didn't come up with the same number.
And I raised the one to get it to actually agree to what the
Okay.
contract was.
Okay.
And then the other two items that are in there are 10,600 for ice rescue boat suits that the fire chief talked about, and then 33,600 for the Polaris Ranger Crew Cab XP 1000.
No,
So that's the difference on the fire budget. I'm just gonna pull up each of these just so we've got them. The general fund.
so I've got two other questions.
Okay, which fund?
This one's just more of a cleanup on, Lake Improvement Fund.
Okay,
Even though the recommended came to the same total as requested, all of the numbers are all zeros here just for, I mean, so I know it's all zero. Which I don't know how it worked, it still gave you the total, but
I guess I have to see what the column are in that.
what, you can't read it from there?
No, I can't. I need a big screen jumbotron. So the only differences between the, it didn't get moved over to.
That's all I'm
the-
saying.
Yeah,
Just-
that
It used to
column,
have that same,
Yeah.
those same numbers over there. I
yeah,
was
that's just copied in the column, but
Yeah.
that's reflected in the
The totals there.
resolution, so
Yeah.
there's no changes there.
And then the other question I had. Under Township Board expenses, the contractual services. Under requested was 0, under recommended was 26,1. I'm gonna assume part of that is the 15,000 for the match for the engineering and
No, that was the one that I said, I forgot to fill those in, and we need to fill in what the actual numbers are when we met at the last meeting. So the items that are in there are the annual maintenance fee for the BSNA cloud software, the annual maintenance fee for Laserfish, the manual maintenance fee for our website, the annual maintenance fee for Microsoft, the annual fireworks contribution, and the $600 for the household hazardous waste.
Okay,
That's why those were zero originally, because they didn't get filled in. We discussed that at the last.
so
meeting.
then where did I miss the line item for the match for the grant?
Which grant was that?
Manistee County Community Foundation, and you said you were gonna do a separate line item for that 15,000?
For the DNR,
For the bowl launch.
whole launch parking lot.
Let's see if that's in here under.
And it may be here, but I missed it. If,
You might put that in Parks and Rec budget.
Potentially. Or we forgot.
Hey, back.
Hey, Dave.
I didn't think I saw it. That's why I thought it was in that 26-1 for a minute.
Parks and Rec.
So there was a $30,000 grant match reserve that they could originally included in his budget.
Right.
And I didn't add, I guess, an additional 15 on top of that. So if we want to do that, we can. I don't think that's in here, that extra 15, because there's 30,000 in here already for that, but I don't know if that impacts.
Do we need to?
Well, I think there was a placeholder for big, and we have identified one grant. So we can add.
Well, and
another
we had
one.
talked about adding the 15 in, and for some reason, I remember you saying you wanted it to be a separate line item.
Separate note in the footnote.
Okay.
Yeah. So we can add that in and change that, or we can leave it because we've got 30,000 in there, and then if we need to do something.
We can
amend it.
amend it later,
Okay, as long as we're aware that we're gonna amend it or,
or may have to, may not.
then. And this isn't like a budget number question, but at our last meeting on the budget, we talked about whether we were gonna compensate all committees. I had emailed Vic today because I didn't know what happened with that, and there really wasn't any resolution of the group. So I guess my question is for us to.
I think the resolution was, to me, was Vic, what we talked about, it was like, just leave it go. But
Well, what he said is he was gonna talk about it in a meeting.
Yeah,
Okay.
guys, I was going to mention it, but we had a huge agenda and I didn't give it the attention it should have been given.
Okay.
My
So-
opinion is as it was last month, that I think it's unnecessary for Parks and Rec, but again, I guess I owe it to the team to ask that question to them.
I prepared the budget without having any money for that, but that could always be amended down the road
Okay,
too.
that was gonna be my next question, so we
It's
can
not-
amend it
if they, yes, if they, we'll bring it up, Vic, you can bring it up and we can just amend the budget going forward. If it's so needed.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Okay. We good? But I'm gonna take the order, which it should be, is adopt this first, right? You're correct to me. Do the 2025-2026 general fund budget, which is resolution 2025-009 first. So. Resolve the general appropriation act for fiscal year 2025. Be it further resolved that the township shall adopt a general fund budget at the activity level. Be it further resolved, the township under General Property Tax Act will levy a maximum of 1.4827 mils to finance the above stated appropriation. So who would make that motion? Okay. Is there a second? Second by Matt, okay. And roll call vote, which I can't remember, do we?
question.
Yes, absolutely.
And it was interesting, I didn't catch, so what is?
Okay,
We do need a record roll call vote.
yes, do we put, and I can't remember from last time, do we put the names on the line over here, everyone's name, or is it just in the minutes?
I think they'll figure it out. I think they put it on the resolution too, in the past.
Okay,
But the
Let's just go,
clerk-
yeah.
We don't have to sign.
No, we don't have to sign this. I just have to declare it passed. Okay, Cindy,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
David. I do hereby certify the foregoing resolution was adopted by a favorable vote of the members of said Onekama Township Board on March 19th, 2025. Bring this down to her one at a time. Now we can go back. I don't think it matters now which one, so I'll go back to 2025-003, which is a resolution to establish township supervisor salary. Be resolved as of April 1st, the salary of the office shall be as follows: 20,051. Salary not directly performing assessing salary. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't have to read that. Foregoing resolution is offered by board member. Somebody, maybe.
I'll move.
Moved by Ed. Jennifer, would you like to fill these out instead of me? My lousy handwriting? Okay. Supported by board member. Thank you. And a roll call vote again. Cindy,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Ed.
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
David, yes. I do by hereby declare that. Thought up, Jim?
Yes.
Okay. A resolution to establish the township clerk salary, resolution 2025-004. Therefore be it resolved as April 1st, 2025, the salary of the office of clerk shall be as follows. Clerk, $28,677 salary. Foregoing resolution is offered by board member Matt Kiefer, second by
Cindy?
Cindy, supported by board member Cindy. Roll call vote again. Cindy,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Ed.
Yeah.
Jennifer.
Abstain. You
Uh,
never vote on your own salary.
I think you have to.
You should abstain.
no, you have to.
I have to?
Yes.
You actually do.
Yes.
David, I'll
Twist
abstain.
the arm.
I'll abstain. No, yes. I'm sorry. I do hereby declare the foregoing resolution adopted by favorable vote. Onekama Township Board on March 19th, 2025. Okay. Moving on.
Now, there's one typo on here.
Okay.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, it's not on that one, sorry. It's on the road.
It's on the road fund. Caught up?
Yep.
Resolution to establish township treasurer's salary, resolution 2025-005. Therefore be resolved that as of April 1st, 2025, the salary of the office of treasurer shall be as follows: $26,177. The foregoing resolution is offered by board member. Seconded by Matt. Thank you. On a roll call vote, the following voted in the affirmative: Cindy,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
David, yes. I hereby declare that adopted on March 19th, 2025. Resolution to establish township trustee salary. Resolution 2025-006. Therefore be resolved that of April 1st, 2025, the salary of the office of trustee shall be as follows. Trustee, $9,469 salary. The foregoing resolution was offered by board member.
Meltzer.
Thank you. Seconded by, supported by board member
Support.
Ed. Roll call vote, the following voted affirmative. Cindy, Matt,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
David, yes. I hereby declare that adopted favorably by the members of Onekama Township Board on March 19th, 2025. Resolution to establish township employees' wages, resolution number 2025-007. Therefore be it resolved as of April 1st, 2025, the wages of various township employees shall be as follows. And they are all listed. Foregoing resolution has been offered by board member
Smelter.
Jennifer, thank you. Supported by board member
I can.
Cindy. On a roll call vote, the following voted affirmative. Cindy,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Ed,
Abstain. Because of my lovely wife, the conflict of interest. I don't have to vote on this one.
okay, Ed's abstaining. Jennifer?
Yes.
And David's voting yes.
Just tell her you said.
No, I'm gonna tell her you voted no. Abstain. Different than the other one. Okay, moving on to schedule of fees. Onekama Township Schedule of Fees, 2025 to 2026 fiscal year resolution 2025-008.
I would move for it.
Motion by Cindy, second by Edward to adopt the following fee schedule and charges for township services. A roll call vote followed in affirmative. Cindy,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
David, yes, and declare that passed March 19th by favorable vote 2020. Okay, road fund,
Okay, so I want,
go ahead.
so I need to re-ask the question I did before, because I am confused. So the. And either I didn't understand or Ed misunderstood the question before, so under the road fund, we're showing the total for. I can't find the other document I want.
Total for, to appropriate,
There we go. So I understand that it's matching the 414.5, but what the question I have is under repairs and maintenance. I don't see where the total amount of what we approved tonight is in here.
So I'm looking at the details here and the total expenditures are 414,500
Right.
and the total revenues are 233,000, which is what's reflected on the resolution. And
that's not what she's asking, so what are you asking?
So we just approved 295 and 120, which I interestingly comes to 415, but
Yeah, that's what
with
we,
that,
I didn't have those numbers before we did this budget. Those just came in today or like hot off the
that's
press.
what I was trying to ask.
They don't
Okay,
match
so they
exactly.
aren't-
They're really close. We kind of had an idea of what they were gonna be. But they're close enough that we should be fine. Cause we have $30,000 in here for engineering expenses that we haven't paid before. And there's,
Okay, because that's what, I kept thinking that 384 should have been 415, and that's what I was trying to.
oh, it's a little bit light here on the thing from what it actually is by $1,000, isn't it?
so I'm looking at,
You know, I'm hearing what you're saying, so. It's just weird that the numbers are about the same, but
Well, he guessed from before, didn't you, Ed?
so the patch and chip seal I had at 359,000 and what did we approve? We approved 240 plus 120. Or no, 295
it
Plus
was
140.
415,000.
Right, so we're at 359, so at some point we'll have to do a budget amendment. The 359 is the number that was in the budget because we didn't have these. What are you looking at, Cindy? Maybe that would help.
Yeah, so I'm looking at, what I saw was the recommended, and it's,
That's before we had
so
the
I'm
figure.
saying, no, but I don't even see the
What?
three. I'm seeing repairs and maintenance at 384, which is where I thought you put
So
it.
359 is for patch and chip seal.
Yep.
Which is a low number because we didn't have these. There's
Yep.
15,000 for any random regraveling.
Okay,
And there's 10,000 for other, basically.
Okay.
So that's how you get to the 384. Does that help?
right, so. If we're not gonna amend it now, we're gonna have to amend it
We will,
later
yeah.
because that number changed.
Yep.
That's where I was getting confused
Yep.
before.
Absolutely.
Okay, now I'm good.
Okay,
But on the road fund resolution, there's a typo at the top. It should say 25, 26.
I see that. Okay, moving forward. 2025. Resolution 225 -010. Road fund resolution, thank you. Now I'm back to where it's further resolved that we will adopt the road fund budget at the activity level stated, and we'll do a roll call vote. Oh, nobody's made a motion yet, have they?
Moved by Smeltzer.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
By Matt, okay. Voting in the affirmative, roll call vote. Cindy,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
and David, yes. I hereby declare the foregoing resolution adopted by favorable vote at said meeting.
Thank you.
2025-26 fire fund budget resolution 225-011. Be it further resolved, the township will adopt a fire fund budget activity level listed. Motion,
Smeltzer.
thank you. Second,
I can.
second by Matt. I heard Matt. I got Matt in there. Wow. All those roll call votes. Yes, Cindy,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Ed.
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
David, yes, and here I declare that passed by favorable vote.
Thank you.
Okay. 2025 to 2026 Lake Improvement Fund Balance, resolution number 2025-012.
That would be moved by me.
Moved by Cindy, second by. Oh, Ed, sorry. You guys can duke it out later. Roll call vote. Cindy,
Yes.
Pat,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Ed, Jennifer,
Yes.
yes, David, yes. I hereby declare that happened. DNR, I think that is it for all them, right? Yes, it is. DNR boat launch grant memorandum of understanding.
Yes, so remember we all approved moving forward with the grant. Bob and or whoever prepared the gift and acceptance. And then Doug had talked about where it was kind of on hold because they wouldn't approve it without more information. So Doug and I had a conference call, with a gentleman, I can't think of his name off the top of my head right now. And one, it had not moved out of his inbox, so that was one issue. And then when it finally did move out of the inbox, someone else in his group said, no, we said, we won't do a gift and acceptance. We will do a memorandum of understanding so you can move forward with the grant. And their thought process is, they're good with us doing the engineering, but until they see what is gonna be involved and if they approve of the specs, and he kind of cautioned me already to say that is gonna take a while for us to get involved with. He said, if everything's fine with that, then we'll move to the gift and acceptance. So I called Laura, made sure that they were good with that, and she said, absolutely.
Okay,
But, so I don't have a signed memorandum.
so it might be, who knows, months, 2 months?
No, I actually sent the memorandum to you. I mean, you can sign it. Mhm.
When was that? Oh, board review, I'll bet you. Okay. Send it to my township supervisor one. Okay, I'll look after the meeting.
I
Okay,
can put it up for
or
you.
just
but-
pull it up.
Yeah,
Can it be signed? Okay, I think the board's already voted to sign it, right? That we gave permission to do it. I don't think we need a motion, do we?
well,
Yeah.
when I talked to you, when I first brought it up, I said, does the township have to approve it since
We talked about it, but did we make a motion? I don't.
forward with the grant? So why don't we just make a motion? That way it's all nice and clean.
I agree with that.
Okay, so
You're making that motion?
I just did.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that was okay. Second, Matt?
Sure.
Thank you. Okay.
Look at you, it's getting more efficient.
Discussion, no, someone's got to second these things. Discussion, none being heard, all in favor, say aye. Aye, opposed? Okay,
And I will get you the memorandum before I leave.
So Cindy, once we get to the point of engineering, I want to make sure whoever's doing that, if it's Spicer or whoever, obviously has contact with the DNR up front to know what they require.
Yeah.
And not just have, they need to make sure it's gonna be.
Right.
They're gonna get it
And
approved.
Pat and I actually had a conversation because I also called him. Because my concern was the date of his proposal for engineering and how much time has elapsed. I wanted to make sure that number was still good, which he said it is.
Okay.
And I explained the whole situation to him, so.
okay. Good with that, okay. Lake manager contract, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so. Trying to pull it up, I'm trying to do too many things. Okay, so what I sent to you is from PLM. It is a proposed contract for treatment. And just to kind of roll everything back, as you know, we went forward with Kaiser and Associates as the manager. That has been held up for about a month right now. 3 weeks it was held up, going back and forth with Kaiser and the committee because one of the things mentioned, or the only thing mentioned was chemical and herbicide use. And the committee was adamant that we have other options available that they needed to explore. So we talked about how to adjust for that so that the committee was satisfied and Kaiser was satisfied. So that took a while, and in the meantime, Doug Berry was retiring, and so things kind of got lost. Then I sent it to Tom, who I asked him to do it within a week because of our meeting, but he was caught up with some things, and he said, Cindy, I think it got the end of this week, but probably the following week. The problem that creates is if we don't have that approved at this meeting, which we can't because I don't have the agreement back from Tom, we don't have the lake manager willing to do the work to get RFPs issued for a treatment company. And when the committee talked Monday, we realized even if we had everything approved right now to do an RFP, distributed interview, we're way past the best time frame for permitting. So because everybody was familiar with PLM, because everybody was satisfied with PLM's work treatment wise, the committee Monday felt what made the most sense is rather than go through an RFP process for this first year only.
For treatment only, you're talking about.
Treatment only.
You're gonna rely on
That
PLM
we
because.
rely on PLM because they're known, we know the work they've done. Kaiser and Associates probably would have sent that as at least one of theirs.
Okay,
So with that, I talked to Bree and said, would you please send me something so that we can deal with it at the meeting one way or the other? And originally she sent an extension and I said, well, you can't extend a terminated contract. Can you create a new contract? So that's what I sent to you. And then I compared the language to what Tom and the board previously approved. And it's the same other than she removed any reference to management because they're not doing management.
okay,
Said it would be under the director of Kaiser and Associates. Anything related to DEQ or MDEQ, she changed to Eagle, which makes sense. And then the fees or the cost is changed, which is appropriate with the most recent cost she had charged us. It doesn't match up with 2020 because obviously that was 5 years ago. And also the only other change is changing herbicides that are approved or not approved by Eagle at this point. So, I mean, one would be if the board would approve having PLM as the lake
Applicator.
treatment applicate rate for this year. And then two, up to you whether we have Tom Greer review it or not. So that's where we're at.
Was Bree at all hesitant to send you that? I mean,
Absolutely not.
Given, okay. I mean, I think the concern that had been voiced over the years was that we wanted those separated. We have them separated. PLM's a known quantity.
I was just gonna recommend what to put on. All they're gonna do is be the applicator, so we've got kind of the best of both worlds, don't we?
Well, in
Well, we-
PLM, I know both Kaiser and actually the other, consultant we interviewed, both use PLM.
Do they? Okay.
Not saying that they wouldn't have,
Well, they might put a proposal out, maybe you
Yeah.
get some other response.
Right.
But we're at a
Maybe
time
have
crunch.
a-
That's not happening. Okay.
yeah, I mean, the committee's concerned that we're not
Okay.
gonna be able to get our permits.
We have no issue. I have no issue with PLM, no, so.
It has to
okay.
go on at a certain time, I guess.
You think we need to have Tom look at it if she's compared this to the other contract and
It's
they're
up to
taking
you,
out those?
but
It's a two-pager and I'm comfortable if Cindy reviewed it, nothing substantive change there.
yeah, I
I
compared
mean,
it.
I'd like to have Tom do that, but Tom isn't gonna get to us.
Not in their food, well. We'll get into why.
Or if you
why
wanted
he
to, I'll
couldn't.
send it to them right away. I mean, that's
No, is the same language other than she removed,
Exact
you know
same
what, no.
language.
Oh, anybody want to
Which he
make a
had previously
motion?
approved.
But that was the reason she wanted to extend it.
Right.
Because that way it's like, this is already approved, but I was having a problem with extending a contract that's dead.
No, I agree with that. We're just gonna extend it 1 year,
That's it.
okay,
Yeah, so I don't want the multiple year.
No, I see that.
type of this.
Okay.
I only want the single year because the committee does want to go through an RFP process.
applicator, maybe,
Wait, what did you say?
Well, the first sentence is the previous herbicide contract expired in 2025, and upon request, we are pleased to offer a new contract for Portage Lake for the 2025 treatment season.
Right.
So did it expire like January 1 or?
It expired
actually expired
Actually, no.
December.
last date, but I know that it expired, but originally that said, and here we're gonna extend it. And that's why I wanted the new agreement.
It does say
Their
2025 treatment season, so that would be,
Spring.
Right, this year.
well, yeah, this year, so I think we're okay, John. Are you offering this as a motion?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any other
Your
discussion?
committee's comfortable with that, you said?
Mhm. Absolutely.
And 1 year, I'm checking this right now, 1 year program
1 year.
rolling, okay. Any other discussion? You think we need a roll call on that? No, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that's carried.
And then we'll have to look at the lake manager agreement when we get it back from Tom,
Okay,
which I'm hoping that we can do a special meeting, because otherwise we're not gonna have that until April.
okay. Our plan,
So
I know what,
there's potentially still a chance to apply for up to $2,500 to help defray the cost of the previously approved surveillance camera system.
okay,
But I could not get into their website to get that downloaded. So we may have missed the deadline. I don't think we did. It's just basically they'll pay up to $2,500 because it's, risk prevention or mitigation. So I would like to entertain or have somebody make a motion that, authorizes me to apply for that grant. And then I'll see if I can get in and get it downloaded and get it put in. I don't know if they'll accept it or not, but there's a chance to get $2,500 back.
okay. Would somebody make that motion?
Yes.
Thank you, Cindy. Second, Matt? Second by Matt. Discussion, none being heard, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Budget amendments, are
So in the packet, there was some budget amendment.
Wasn't it for legal services, as I remember,
Yeah,
from 30 to 40s?
Yeah, so the budget amendment was from 35 to 45,000 for legal, an increase in 10,000. We're not there yet, but, with all the work that he's been doing on the current issue with the dock, there's gonna be unbilled items that'll have to get accrued back to this fiscal year, and we don't wanna be, because the budget's adopted on a departmental level, we don't wanna be over budget on that, so. I think that should cover it. I talked to David, to see if he thought that's what the amount would be roughly, so that hopefully will cover it. That's what the basis of the amendment is for.
You making that motion
Yeah,
for 10,000 more to be transferred from,
just to increase the budget.
okay, is there a second?
Yes.
Second by Cindy, any discussion? None being heard, all in favor, say aye.
Uh,
Aye, opposed, that's carried. I'll get to unfinished business after all that. Okay, so we've got the trespass wetland status. I don't have anything other than the letter, the last letter that came from Eagle to him about, that's the last thing we've ever gotten, I think.
so we had talked at the last meeting about, putting together a letter to Eagle because they want something, but I don't have all the dates and times. I don't know how we want to draft that. Maybe
Maybe we can just work on that. I can get some. Vic, are you still on by chance?
Yeah, I'm
No.
in, I'm here.
Between you and I, we can probably come up with dates when all that happened based on probably some pictures I have too.
And
probably.
I sent some text message. I can give you the dates of that stuff.
Okay,
But somebody just needs to pen a letter to Eagle, whatever. Maybe find out from them. what they
Supporting their
want.
actions. and-
well, they want to know what's happened there and the reason,
The
yes.
bulldozer.
Well, and also, but to mention the trespass too, I think, and I thought that was something maybe Tom might even need to weigh in on, so.
Well, and I'd asked, so here's the other question. Do we want to have Tom write a letter? We talked about this, write a letter. He doesn't know if it'll do any good because there's such a little thing, but do we want Tom to get involved with this about making this guy do something on our property where he got in
Is the
there?
road commission gonna do something?
Ah, no idea. They should. There's like $3,000 worth of trees that he cut down that's on their property. You know, I don't know.
So when's the next road commission meeting?
We just had one, that I had drug her out of by mistake, but whatever. What day, what's next? Is it 2 weeks or a month?
Maybe that's just a conversation, Dave, between you and the road commission manager. See if they're gonna do anything. Then we'll know it and we'll know how to draft our letter.
Okay,
April 9th. Yes, it always mentions our board meeting when it's
Oh.
normal.
Same weeks, yeah.
okay, we could. I mean, I brought it up 3 times already. I don't know, you know, it's not my money,
Right, so I mean, I just, yeah, it'd be good to know.
not my money. Okay. Recording secretary, how did we like the AI thing?
Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
If you don't mind.
Go ahead, weigh in.
So when I first saw, well, first of all, I've been helping Matt do the trails meetings as well. And for some reason or another, it worked with Parks and Rec, but did not work with trails. And so Ed's going to give me a separate URL. That's the only thing I can think of that might have caused it to not work with trails. But and I think I did everything right. But you know, going forward, we'll maybe have a separate URL. For Parks and Rec, it was interesting. When we have a recording secretary, she has the expertise to, you know, capture what really needs to be captured. The AI captures a lot. And so I really liked the summary. I really liked the fact that it gave assignments. But when I got into the details, I found that there was so much content there that it took me probably twice the time that it does to edit minutes when I got them from Michelle. So that was my first experience. Initially, it was pretty good, and then when I got into it, it was a little bit much. Just my observation.
Creating minutes is always takes longer than editing ones that have been written, just as an aside, but I can understand why that would be the case.
So did it, I didn't read, did it have just too much detail? I mean, it just had everything. Is that what
It's a
you're?
meeting summary, it's not meeting minutes.
Yeah,
You still have to
okay.
do minutes, and that's the issue.
But you can use it to
It
go
can
back.
help, absolutely.
We were
The
just
other thing-
piggybacking off the park site. I was thinking, use the same URL.
Go ahead, Vic, I'm sorry.
The other thing is that within the meeting, we're not as disciplined as we need to be. If we're talking about a certain subject, then something will come up from a completely different subject. And so it gets listed. I just had to weed stuff out of one area, put it into another, and so on and so forth. It was a little unwieldy. But again, it was my first time too, so I don't want to condemn it on its first time out, but it was a little bit of work.
You better watch out and shut your power off. Okay,
But it doesn't answer the question, so
No.
Michelle still is willing to do it for planning commission, and what was the other one that she said?
did she say Parks and Rec or no?
No, she doesn't want to do Parks and Rec, planning commission, one of the other ones, I don't know if it's board or.
Maybe it was appeals board,
ZBA.
ZBA.
But for the other ones, we need to figure out, is the committee just gonna do them? Some committees can, some aren't comfortable doing that, so it's kind of hard to, I guess, say.
I'm doing one for invasive species.
Okay,
Yeah, it feels like the committees ought to do them, I think, but.
And I can pose that question at our next meeting.
why don't we do that and see what
Okay.
happens? We'll put it, leave it on the agenda for next month again, Jim.
I just don't think there's that many people out there available to do it.
No, okay. Mr. DeVoe, compliance order. I talked to Mike today from the county. And he's willing to go out with me next week, so.
Did you still have the form that I did out?
Mhm.
Okay.
So hopefully get Mike to finish his thing because it, like, he read the compliance order and called me today, actually. I talked to him today and said, well, he's way behind. I said, oh, yeah, we know that. You're just going by the date on the order or what, So
That's good.
he's willing to, yeah, no, that's great. So Bernard Dock, so violation. So Tom had been working on that. Probably the reason he couldn't do anything for anybody else is he was spending all his time putting together that case where we were supposed to go
Were you supposed to go Tuesday or Monday?
was it this Tuesday?
Yes,
Yes,
Tuesday,
this
18th.
Tuesday. So the attorney for Mr. Bernard, Scott Howard, called Tom Monday night or Monday at 5 o'clock. Well, I called to ask what today anyways. Called and said that they're working on a settlement agreement between Bernard's and the back lot owners. So I'm assuming that's a little bit, or cousins or whatever. And if they do that, it'll resolve the issue about the boat. And he wasn't done doing all the work for the case, which would have entailed another 4 days, he thought. And I just said, so how much is that? We're probably already over, I don't even know if we got a bill. We're probably over, we haven't got the bill yet, 10, 12 grand, I don't know. So it made sense to just, to me, and I think I called whoever I called, it made sense to, why waste the money, give them a chance to resolve it, because if they resolve it, it goes away and the boat won't be there. And we don't have to go to court, but we've already spent, God, I don't even know how much. More
So
than we
when
should
will we
have.
know if they're gonna resolve it?
That is in, first week in April.
So I'm assuming what you mean is whatever is being done, if whatever is resolved, then he has a place where he's
He's
going.
gonna
to
put his
do
boat
things.
As opposed to
on the road end, so we don't have to go and fight that battle. I mean, I think we don't, my first thing when he said that, I said, no, let's just go to court. But then he laid out that it's gonna cost X if we go, and if there's a chance to resolve it, we don't have to spend another dime. Well, yeah, that makes sense, because we'd already served him with our packet. So,
and would that be, you probably don't know the details, that would be an agreement that's on.
yeah, I have no idea.
Okay, not just for a year or something.
No, and then we're not involved with any of that, so. But that's what was brought
So I
up.
guess but we don't have any idea what time frame.
Yeah, it's like, It's coming up right away. So what is today? Today's the 19th. It's either by the 2nd of April, it's somewhere in the last, it's right, no, it's coming up right away. We'll know right away, because if it doesn't, then we're just gonna continue, because I'm not gonna let it go.
Okay.
Otherwise,
That
we'll
was
be
my-
talking about this next year. The lift is still there. On the road end. Well, at least it was a week ago. So,
I'd like to, maybe, I won't be at the April meeting, but maybe in May. I'd like to add something to the agenda to just have a general discussion about the township attorney, if we could do that,
yes,
it'd be great.
okay. And when you're not gonna be here?
I won't be here for the April meeting unless it gets moved, and you don't need to move it, I'm gonna be out of town.
Okay, so we might talk about that here before we leave today. Portage Lake Bible Camp Road Vacation Agreement, Supplement Agreement.
That you don't, that's not the road vacation, the agreement you have just as a courtesy copy is they've agreed to let people ice fish.
Oh, is that what you said?
I don't think
I
that's
didn't get a
the,
chance to read it before I came.
the road vacation has to do with the,
No, this is, did I say vacation?
it's what it's on here as unfinished.
Oh, I'm sorry, it deals with vacating the roads in the flat over there, but it doesn't.
Right, it's not
Yes.
this.
It's the supplementary agreement.
Yes, I agree. So, yeah, yes.
So who prepared that document? Was that, they did that? Did Tom have any input on that?
Tom and their thing, I don't know, is it,
Cause I thought there was gonna be some level of discussion. I mean, we just got it today. I don't know that we can act on it. I'd like to read through it and maybe have.
that's fine.
But I don't know, I mean, it sounds like they're preserving what they deem to be the historical rights, from what I can tell, but we had zero input as far as I can tell on that. Or not, unless Richard was doing it with Tom.
Richard did it with Tom and they
Okay.
tried to get it, because that was mainly what everyone was using it for, was in ice fishing. Now, no one's had time to look at this enough. Let's just put it off. It's not gonna change the output of anything, because,
Right, nobody's gonna be ice fishing.
no, they're gonna take them years to get a vacation through. That's not
So
something
should we
that's,
table that till the next meeting?
let's table it till unfinished business till next month.
Then I'll make a motion, we table the, what do they call that?
Amended resolution
The
and
resolution on, until the next meeting.
ice fishing access. I don't know what you want to call them. Okay. Finally, Jim, I'm sorry. Oh, you gotta remind me. I know I looked at you when I should have moved on. What's going on?
Well, the board has a contract with MCM.
They do.
The dredger will be, yeah. It's not MCM.
No?
Viking is gonna be the dredger.
Oh, we got a different dredger this time.
Okay.
Is that good or bad? Good or bad?
And I don't know how big they are. I've never heard of them, but,
Okay,
and their completion date is the end of October.
so when do they start, or you don't know?
Well, no, I haven't got that yet. Talked to them, I talked to Liz and she said, well, there's a few other ports. Channels that are in worse shape than yours, so we're let them go to those first.
What's the company name again?
MCM is the one that's got the contract and they've let to Viking.
Viking.
The
Okay,
DNR has both permits for their dredging.
That's good.
I talked to Casey and I called her David, she didn't call back, so it must be the same as when I talked to her. She wants to have it done, both of them done by Memorial Day,
well, that'd be good.
which precludes probably using Viking. So they have a maintenance section, one in Grand and one in Baldwin. And they were the ones that were gonna do the 60-foot.
Okay,
And then Doug had been talking to me about a drag line that they have. So whether that's what they're gonna use for the out to the deep water or not, I don't know. So
okay.
when I get more, I'll let you know, but
It's so low out here now, I can't even, how low is it out there right now, by the way? Have you been out there? It's gotta be.
It's real low.
Yeah, I mean, this will be the lowest it probably is, but it's getting down to like.
It's not like you can't, yeah, where you could walk out, climb down the ladder in the channel.
Well, you see behind here the store?
Here.
It's dry.
Yeah.
No, behind the Easy Mart.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I
There's
mean, it's
no-
dry in places that normally have water, so it's.
Jim, do you know how far down the water level is?
Ted said at the last meeting it was down about a foot.
From last fall?
Yeah.
It's almost at low water. It's
Yeah.
almost all time low.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, up and down really quick.
They've got
2014, it
slips
was
on-
like
It's really
Then
close.
it was-
it wasn't, how many years ago was it over the top everything? It was just like
5 years.
4 years ago.
6 years.
20. Went from an all-time low at 2014,
Yeah.
All-time.
almost all-time high. Now-
Ever recorded.
And now it's all-time.
So where did trillions and trillions of gallons of water go? Okay, now west, no,
New pipeline.
new pipeline that I don't know about, okay. Well, I'm glad we're to the point of the agenda. I love recycling again.
Must be the Canadians.
Yeah, we haven't been graced by the recycling coordinators for several meetings,
Who is that?
but they just, maybe Carla's waiting to get her contract renewed. or-
I'll call her and find out again and clarify the cardboard thing to make sure that understood what she said about that there was no specific cardboard trailer from the company they're using. Not saying we couldn't pay for one,
That's pretty interesting.
but do we want to do that? Let's say it was that. Would you want to pay for that?
Nope,
No, I think we put more money into fences or something before.
and just get some more bins.
Just out.
Because we won't get charged for the bins. They already charge us so much a household, right? They'll have to supply more
Well,
bins.
and here's what it'll do, it'll discourage,
The.
I mean, I've been there enough where I've seen people, I see people from Manistee there
So.
unloading cardboard into the trailer. The reason they're doing that is because it's one, it's probably the closest or the only one left, and it's easy.
It's 24/7.
Yeah, it's 24/7, it's easy, you can just fling it in there on the ground, whatever, and then they walk away from it. When it becomes a little more difficult, like if we just have the green bins, the people will stop driving longer distances to do it, cause you gotta pull everything down. So if we buy something specific that's easier to do, it's gonna get filled up and it'll be on the ground again.
Who does signs?
I'll get the signs.
We should do 8 to 8 sign. I don't care if it's 8.
Let's talk about it.
Can I stop you a minute though? So we're talking about signs, we're talking about fences, so we're talking about adding more improvements.
No, that
When we
graphic
still don't
location.
have any kind of an agreement that we can stay there.
That's true, but the signs, all this is gonna be under $100. Well, no, the fence is not gonna be under $100.
The signs, though, I think if we do that,
You know, we're second.
I think it
you
will
want 2
help,
on either side of the ones that says enter and 2 that say exit, and then.
along with the hours of operation,
But I
right?
don't know what the hours, I just threw that out there.
No, I don't think that's, you could go 7 to 9. When you go 7 to 8, I'd go, people are gonna do it anyways, but at
I
least,
know, it'll be a deterrent.
yes.
You know, and.
Or you could put a card system in with a gate that you have to check in, and if you don't have it, you can't.
So I can either get those coming, or I can get a price and you can look at it at the next meeting, but you want it to be 8 to 8, or
Down the park right there.
if you do it, I don't know, 8 to 6, I mean, 8 to 8 seems reasonable.
Yeah, I think
Think 8
because
to.
then it's not interrupting
But they're not-
early morning.
Right.
But I mean, people are gonna come whenever, at least we're making the attempt to try
Yeah,
to.
but it might change behavior after a month. It might. I mean,
I don't know.
the people that are gonna violate it, you're not gonna change their behavior.
No.
Okay.
So I'll see, I'll find out the prices and I'll bring it back to the next meeting.
It wasn't anything that's natural.
Or unless you want to just approve. it.
I'll tell you what I did 2 years ago, but I'm not gonna say during the meeting, so I'll tell you after the meeting. It did deter someone's behavior.
Yeah, I bet.
Okay. Vic, are you still on there? You wanna give a report?
The only thing that I had for the group was the note that I sent today on invasive species. If the budget is approved as submitted, I'd like to have Tyler, put the wheels in motion to get the invasive species thing done. I sent the note to everybody that had a summary of his instructions, and then it also had his conclusion and recommendation. So The action item for you guys would be, do you agree with Tyler's recommendation of the three vendors as long as he keeps it within the $5,000 budget? And again, this isn't an emergency, but since invasive species are going to start as soon as the buds start, I'd like to get going as quickly as we can. It wasn't in the
A
packet.
little upside down in order, but you do have the original. Might be at the very there.
So Vic, just to be clear, you're asking for permission to delegate to you folks up to the budget amount and work with Tyler to get somebody to do that work?
Correct, and we included within the note that I sent the three bids that we received, and then Tyler, who is on our Parks and Rec from the conservation area, has made a recommendation and the reason for his recommendation. So I deferred to him on that, and my suggestion would be that you guys defer to him and we'll stay within budget. We'll get the best
He's
output we can for the
recommending-
budget.
He's recommending Schillinger Forestry, Daniel Schillinger.
That is correct.
So will there need to be will that be the conservation district? Are we paying them or are we paying this guy?
No. We'll be paying the vendor.
Okay, so do we we probably need an agreement or something like that, right?
Something.
Well, included in there was his proposal, and his proposal ranged anywhere from $4,000 to $15,000. And what Tyler is saying, I will work with him to get the best output we can, and we'll do it within our $5,000 budget.
Okay, so it's gonna be under 5,000.
It's
maximum.
gonna be $5,000.
Try to get the most that we can for 5,000.
Yeah, okay, so how do we,
Not to exceed.
okay. We just wanna make a motion, that we just don't exceed that? Or allow them to spend what?
Right.
Is that what you're asking for, correct, Vic?
Sorry, my earbuds just went dead. Say that again?
No, I think I know the answer. So was somebody
We're
want,
just asking Vic's Matt, not to just put in the motion not to exceed $5,000.
But
but
are we gonna have some kind of a
agreement?
agreement?
Well, you could just make a motion that he could get this agreement done and just not to exceed 5,000. Can let him go that way, or
So this is the age old question that I always ask.
chicken and the egg?
It's. In theory, you're asking somebody to do some work for you. There should be some kind of a written agreement.
I agree.
Not every written agreement has to be reviewed by the attorney. It's nice. It gets expensive though, right? Some of them are pretty straightforward. We don't have the attorney review our lawn mowing contract, right? But there should be something in writing that,
What he's gonna do for the
From
money.
that forestry plans, yeah.
yeah,
Well, that's what I'm asking.
right. So, I mean, I'd be willing to make a motion to approve the recommended vendor at a not to exceed cost of $5,000, subject to either the Parks and Rec Committee or Tyler or in collaboration, having an agreement and in order
Some in place that.
to get this going. And maybe we can approve that in April. Maybe that's early enough. Would April be early enough, Vic, or do you need it before that?
You there, Beck?
Yeah, you can't hear me?
No.
Now we can.
Now we can.
Do you
My-
need this approved before our April meeting?
I would like to, yes, but I can get you some written document that tells us exactly what we're getting.
And I believe we're gonna have a special meeting to approve the Kaiser agreement once Tom said, because we only approved Kaiser, we didn't approve like
We didn't,
the
no.
contract.
Yeah.
So maybe we could do the two of them.
So did you hear that, Vic?
Yes, I did. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Would that be acceptable? Because I would like to see something in writing for this.
Okay, what we're gonna get for the $5,000, I'll get with Tyler and tell him we need something in writing.
There you go. We'll just have a special meeting next week or whatever it is before our other meeting. There's only
Okay.
a week left in the month. Okay,
Next week.
Well, I'm sure they will. I'll get on his butt. Anything else, Beck?
Nothing, other than, Michelle and Jean are working hard on getting, all of the events put together, and that means I'll be updating the website as soon as I get all that stuff. So lots of activity in the next couple of weeks.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Questions, anybody for Beck? None? Okay. Fire department, everybody's seen the fire report. We don't need to read it out loud, but, did he put the times that they're gonna be billing for? So does everyone know what happened with the power outage over the weekend or not?
No.
Okay, so power lines were down in like 3 different spots. We had 3 trucks out,
Two, I think.
2
I
or
don't
3
think we had
guys,
three. I think
3
we had
guys,
two.
with 3 guys. Okay, so the first day the power was out anyways, there was an issue between 911, consumers, the trucks. So the trucks get all their information via satellite on an iPad, right? And it tells them where to go. So the power was off most of the day, and I came down, oh my God, it was 7 o'clock at night, and I called Rob, and I said, how's it going? Well, he's still waiting for a truck to show up, and I said, okay. I said, well, there's trucks down here on 22. They're all lined up. 6:30, 7 o'clock. And he said, oh, good, they're probably coming this way. Well, then I came back around, went home the other way, never paid attention. So later on, I called him, and I said, hey, are you home yet or something? He goes, no one's ever showed up. This was like at 9:30. And I go, well, that's kind of weird. What do you mean? I said, did you get something to eat? Then I was like, okay, should I bring you something? What's going on? No, Shelley brought me some, and they were taking care of it. I said, where's the guys? He goes, I don't know, can't get through to nobody. No one's answering the phone now. Consumers sent all the trucks home and never sent them to the other places that were, and they were very rude about when they tried to call them, they just basically hung up on them. There's something bad went on. Don't know what. I'm trying to figure, I haven't said anything to anybody yet to figure out. Rob, I'm gonna get with Rob this weekend and try to figure out who do I talk to, because you can't have that happen
Eric
again.
Gustave.
Yeah.
But we have a cost recovery.
Oh, they're gonna bill them. It's like,
Yeah, we need to.
we talked about the other day, how much?
We talked about the other day, but we thought there were 3 trucks.
Yeah.
So the agreement that is in place currently with consumers is consumers will pay up to $200 an hour, billed in half-hour increments. The first hour is on us.
Right, because they pay taxes, the rest of it. So they were there 23
3 hours?
hours.
Right?
I mean, we bill.
Yeah, well, they didn't show up. They sent them home. Then they came back, the guy from Consumers apologized profusely about, he just didn't know. He didn't know because they never notified him as the crew leader that there was still outages here.
And the people were waiting for the power to go on too.
Well, sure, because they said, oh, this will be restored in your area in 2 hours. They were a little off.
Wow.
Was
So
that
the
right
bills-
after the big windstorm?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bill will be, well, 23 to 20
$2,600.
per truck.
Oh, per truck?
Yeah, it's per
12
truck.
grand, 10 grand. There's your ice rescue suits.
Yeah.
Well,
True.
Well, true.
consumers will fight it.
Well, no, they agreed to this thing.
They agreed to that, but they don't.
Yeah, no, they don't, but they did agree. It is their fault. So we may end up having that fight, but that's okay. That'll be a good fight.
They have an unrelated fire department issue.
Go ahead.
We won't solve today, maybe it needs to be on the future agenda. I am thrilled that the Blue Slipper is doing such a robust business. However, when summer gets here, they are going to absolutely consume this parking. And I've had complaints that the first responders don't have any place to park, that employees don't have places to park. I'm wondering if there shouldn't be a little subcommittee that's put together to mark some of those spaces as reserved.
Okay, so I talked to Jim twice now. And I told him, so they have trivia, on
Tuesday.
Tuesday's trivia night. Well, they're busy every night, like you said, doesn't matter. I said, you can't monopolize the parking lot. We need to keep this half the parking lot at least open, because I can't have first responders, firemen showing up to go to a fire and they don't have a place to park.
And
to
it's
get a
already-
truck out.
It's already happened.
Correct.
Well, they were practicing and,
Well, that was Monday.
right,
That's different.
I told them about that.
okay.
So I went Monday and told them, I said, don't have anybody park over here. I know it's St. Patrick's Day, but I can't do that because they're gonna come and use the parking lot. And they were pretty good. There was only 2 vehicles of theirs that were over here. We had to, he went and blocked it off.
Oh, okay.
So he's gonna get some signs, or we can get some signs, and we're gonna put township business parking only here because,
This side.
correct.
I think the gentleman should offer to pay
He
for
would.
those
He
signs.
put the sign up. I told him what they
And then-
were.
And I think the signage needs to be very clear that it's not only township business, but it's fire and EMS, it's rescue, and will tow, and then you actually have to follow through.
I think you'd have to, you know, otherwise it serves no purpose to just blindly. So, but he was all apologetic, so he's not the issue. He didn't, you know, nobody thinks of fire and rescue, didn't think, but the guys had to park, they're looking for spots to park out in the street. Can't
There
have
was
that.
cars one night, I was parked on both sides of the street, both ways. Their parking lot was full and this was like half full or more.
Rob indicated that inability for them to park here cost 3 minutes on a rescue where the gentleman,
Could be
What?
a life or death deal.
8
believe it
or
or not.
9 minutes.
Right, so we don't wanna have that happen. Otherwise, we'd have to shut the parking lot down and tell them, no, it's just, but I don't know how you enforce that, it's a public lot, can you do that?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
But if we reserve the west end,
correct.
EMS and.
Well, just for a township business, you could say Jennifer's statement, maybe that makes more sense to them. They read it and they say, oh, EMS and fire, oh, that makes
Nobody
sense.
cares about township business.
No. I guess you're probably right, they had to screw them.
But EMS.
Well, you started
sink
with
in
12
with me.
people, you've got 2 left.
You guys get
This
a,
evening's
you
township
get a
business.
cookie.
Oh, we're still here.
Oh, there's.
We don't
no.
count.
Forget-
There's
don't
there's
forget
people on
me.
the owl. Yeah,
Yeah,
Vic's on there, who else is on
You
there?
guys
Listen,
think
they-
it's a virtual?
So am I, and I'm not on any committee or on anything, so I'm still here as I have been in the past.
We'd
Well, your
love to have you
time's
on a
coming, so
committee.
hold on. We're almost there. Okay, planning commission, I'm just moving on, then, we're
Zoning
okay?
administrator, I have a comment.
Go ahead, zoning.
So, I'm glad Mike is being more active. He sent us a report. It was factually inaccurate. I think it was an oversight. I had several emails back and forth with Katie Mel. They agreed that they were gonna be a little more diligent about writing up their report so that they're factually accurate moving forward. So I think we've resolved that issue. And I'm
Okay.
glad that he's gonna be participating in the DeVoe thing. I think they understand that they
That's a
just need to dot
countywide.
their i's and cross their t's a little better.
Yeah.
So,
Cause it's a countywide blight.
Well, I don't know, ours is,
well, I think he does that for whoever they have contract.
yeah, he doesn't work for everybody, he works
Right.
whoever they working for. At Bear Lake, on a related thing, Bear Lake dropped out.
Oh, did they?
They hired Tony Merrill to be their zoning administrator. So,
But I think it's a good thing if Mike is
yeah,
gonna be active and.
he wants to be, so you know what, I'll
Yeah.
take him up on that, I think it's a good idea also. Planning commission, we don't, I guess he gave his report kind of, right, we don't have nothing going on roads, I guess.
The only thing on roads is I'm really excited to see them try the pilot project with that stuff on the dirt road and maybe we can find out if they're actually gonna do that or not.
They are gonna do it, but I don't know where, I'm hoping they do it on, Maidens Road.
It'd be great if it was the right.
If it works there,
It'll work a lot of places.
it'll work anywhere. I mean, you could try some on 11 Mile if it worked there, and then try Maidens, but Maidens
I would
washes.
defer to them where they wanna do it.
Whatever
I'm
they
just
wanna do
Curious
it.
to see what it would be like. It'd be,
Okay,
sounds too good to be true to me.
I
but-
know. Well, they come out and survey the road base to make sure it's proper.
well, they have somebody there, so it must be, they want it to work. What's that, Judith?
Well, the road commissioner, they told them that, they put up a road sign on 22. I called them in, and
Finally.
I did stop in and thank them for putting it up. It was the only one along 22 that was not designated. Unless you wanted to tell your friend, I'm off the non-posted road.
I told people that before.
The non-posted stuff.
Yeah, you just go along, there won't be a road sign on there, and you turn right, and they go,
Except
what?
that it- on if you go either way.
It's marked.
East or west, it's marked.
Yeah.
It's just not, and it's marked in large things so you can see it at night.
Oh, I did get asked this again too. We want to talk, you know, how we talk about lights every once in a while on these corners. I don't know what the procedure is, but Mr. Miller asked me if we may consider putting a light up on 11 Mile and 22 like they have on. So,
By the market.
yeah. Just on that intersection.
That was talked about before.
Yeah, we didn't do anything and I don't remember why that just dropped off. I know we didn't take any action on it, but
Probably wasn't on the unfinished business list.
it probably wasn't. It will be now. Ms.
If it
Clerk,
gets
if
off,
you could add
then
that
it's
to the
gone.
unfinished business list. Isn't that bad? Because they put up an LED. The bill itself isn't
No.
anymore.
You know, the light that we've got out at the turnaround is needed. That thing is bright.
Is it an LED?
Yeah, it is. And it's, I mean, if you're out on the lake at night, or, I mean, I don't know if we've had any complaints about it, so I'm not, well, but at some point, I don't know if we want
What
to.
do they call that?
shield it?
Quiet skies
No,
or
it's
something?
Dark sky.
Dark skies.
It's,
Tomorrow here is a talk about dark sky.
I mean,
it's super.
But no one's ever complained about it.
And that's.
So maybe
fine,
they like
because-
it that bright.
Well, I think it helps prevent some
Vandalism,
behavior at the
behavior.
But it's.
But you're saying maybe
We
put-
go up there at night sometime and
Is
Like,
that
build
bright?
towards the lake or something.
or something, I don't know, it's pretty bright.
It is very bright.
It's very.
Okay,
I know the bugs like it in the summer.
good deal. Okay, assessor and board review. Okay, so we went through board review and I think I've been, so in 30 some years of doing board review meetings, 32, let's be 33. That is the least amount of people and letters that we've ever had, was 4 petitions.
Wow. You're doing a great job.
Well, no, I thought, everything went up so much, I don't know, I think people just look at it and go, it's not on your taxable side, it's on the assessed side, it just means your property's worth more money, so. I mean, what is there to, you're gonna argue you want it lower, I guess you could say, well, my property would be worth less, I don't know, most people would not argue, I'm just saying if we had 4 petitions.
So we're probably gonna have another Headley rollback, correct?
Mhm.
Yeah, so the budget didn't
Anticipate that,
didn't use any lowered numbers, but the resolution allows us to levy up to a maximum of, but there's a possibility that will get rolled back through a Headley rollback, but we won't know until we get that from the county.
correct,
The city's definitely gonna have one.
okay.
It's just because.
The only thing is, we did pick up a lot of tax value increase in other things, uncappings, new constructions
Well, the
and that,
uncapping is what drives it. If you have a lot of new construction, then that helps to
and we did, so we may.
maybe.
It might be a wash, so might be a wash. Okay, invasive species,
Really already talked about it.
I think we're, okay. Correspondence, I didn't have any, did we have any, Jen? Okay,
I put there was a letter from Ms. Schleifarth in the supplementary
Oh,
packet that was.
Yes, you are correct. Thank you for reminding me.
okay. And then I have, how about bills to be paid, someone make a motion for paying bills.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Ed, second.
Second.
Second by Matt. Thank you, Matt. Discussion. None being heard. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that's carried. Public comment, Libby.
I don't have any. I'm just being informed and I will do my Libby slides and it'll be a combined March and April because I'm going to be out of town. So not that you
Okay,
can't,
so-
but
So
I'm
Libby,
leaving you, so there'll be some peace and quiet in Onekama.
Libby, when we get all these resolutions for the budget and what have you signed and everything, I'm gonna recompile that budget packet with all the new actual financial statements, so it'll be all neat and tidy, and we'll stick that out on the website.
That would be good. And I'm confused because the resolution numbers that I got off the website in the packet are different.
Okay, so
Yeah.
there's go ahead, Jennifer, you want to address that,
So
Jennifer?
correct. So when the original packet was put together, the individual who prepared the resolutions was unaware that there were already 2 pre-existing resolutions, so that made those then out of order. So I went back through today and brought all of those current so that those resolutions are actually correct. You can't have 2 resolution number 1.
I
from
understand
2025.
that. What I want to know is how do I get the the information that you all are working off of, because there were several things that I check the agenda, I check the packet, I print it, and then you get things that come in like Vic and Tyler and
Yeah, because
the
that
road
came in,
commission. So
that came in today.
I
That came in.
understand that. I
Yeah,
understand that. What I'm asking is, how do I get copies of those so that I can follow what you are doing? Can I come
come in
in
and ask
at
for 'em.
3:30 and get them? I mean, obviously, all the board members get them by 3:30.
Oh, you mean, can you come, she's talking about before the meeting. I guess you could come in before the meeting.
It's very difficult to follow if I don't have all the things that you have. And
Yeah, and this is.
and that's
realized-
not a, I'm
Oh,
just
I screwed
asking,
it up.
how do I get it?
Well,
And
I guess
Jennifer,
if you
we
showed
can
up
talk
here,
about
I guess
it.
if you showed up here at 5 minutes to 4, you'd have the most up-to-date information. I don't know what else to say.
Right, so the.
Well, I will come,
Truthfully, Libby, the best we can do is post an agenda to the best of our ability and get it out there early enough for folks. If things come in late or last minute, we as a board have a right to amend the agenda, and that doesn't have to be, posted.
Jennifer?
She's just asking how to get it.
I totally understand that. I'm not, I know how it works. I've been.
Quarter
What I'm
to 4
trying
on the
to ask
meeting
is,
day.
personally, how can I get so if I come in at 20 of 4, can I get everything that the board
If we have it.
hasn't? If something comes in at 10 of 4, I'm not gonna get it.
That's
But
correct.
If something, but really,
Oh,
you
yes.
guys shouldn't
The
be
answer is
acting on
yes.
something. So all I want to have is so that I can follow along. I've been doing this for 3 years, so
I'm gonna tell you
This
yes.
was really unusual though, this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so one way
happen.
we could deal with this, and it plays into a discussion that Jennifer and I had the other day about some other internal stuff, but I put out the agenda packet. Jennifer will be doing that now. I put out the supplementary packet that had like 3 things in it. I think it'd be a good practice. If there's other stuff that comes in, that like to Libby's point that we talked about, that after the fact, we put those in, we put it as yet another supplementary agenda packet, so it is out there. And then that way, people don't have to come in and be bugging you, they can just go to the website and get it. And that's a
Yes,
fairly easy thing to do, but we have to talk through and see if that's what we want to do. That might be an option.
But that would be a great option, because that was what will do, is come in Monday and ask for copies of all the things that I didn't get in the packet. So that's fine. I don't have to have it necessarily before. I am taking notes, and it's very difficult to take notes on documents you don't have. That's all I'm saying.
Right, and some of the documents that we have before us are because committees realized they were, Rob Johnson normally would make his report here. It wouldn't be printed out and handed it to me at 4. Same with Vic's.
Jennifer, I understand all that. I appreciate it. Thank you. I would like, if we could do it after, that's fine. I just would like to have the information, or so I can have accurate information. That's all I'm asking.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Anybody else for public comment? No. All right. Thanks, everybody. I'm going to adjourn the meeting. Adjourn.
If somebody had told me we'd be done before 6:30, I would have bet money against it.
Yeah.
Well, it's because we started a